All right, glad to be here with you guys. I have had one hell of a hard time getting here. I basically sprained my ankle, and it sucks, and it hurts like hell, and it's hard to hobble around. So, anyway, glad to be here though, and please smash that like. Let's start things off by double checking my settings. Just real quick. Sorry about that. I meant to check it earlier. I think I'm good. All right. Yeah, we're good. Just gonna turn on some banners. Welcome some of you guys. Welcome to Friday, best day of the week. I was almost debating on naming the show basically the Crash with Max, where it shows Ice Cube and Mr. Smokey, Craig and Smokey from Friday with the damn, the market crash. Well, it's not as big of a crash as I thought. So I thought, we'll go with TGIF, right? That's what we said we'd do. All right, let's turn on the branding and then we'll welcome some of you guys. Glad to have you guys here. We're going to get into some topics, obviously, that we have today. Jasmy, we have some new info. You guys know where I'm going with this. We're also going to talk about some of the other things they got going on in the background that you may not have been aware of. We're going to talk about the Jasmy grants. That's something that pops up every once in a while. But yeah, it's going to be a good show, and please smash that like. All right, let's go ahead and start off with the first comment. And in the process of doing so, we're at 11 likes. Please smash the like before we can get the show out to a broader audience. You guys did awesome yesterday. I saw in the stats that we had as much as 77 concurrents. It's pretty good. All right, it's not a record, but we'll take it. That was really, really good. All right. Well, let's start things off with the first comment of the day. It is from Tim Shea, who says, "Hey, glad to have you here, Tim. Always appreciate your support, man. You are like the most loyalist of the loyal when it comes to every day. There's some of you other guys too, but Tim Shea, you always stand out, man. Thank you so much. Mayor of Crypto, representing the 589th of XRP Army. Boom. Crypto Commissioner, Tim Shea. Thank you, sir. Patrick Collier's in the house. He's flexing, right? Thank you for being here, Patrick. Big Max. Yes, I will have my own sandwich one day, and it'll be called the Big Max. I don't know what will be on that sandwich, but that's all right. See, Max, this is where we get the expression of, you have the meats. We have the meats. Okay, I get it now. So you already know it's going to be on the sandwich, Max. It's going to be a roast beef. Well, we'll see how that works out. Brittany's here. Welcome, Brittany. Looking smiley in the avatar. Thank you so much for being here. Remittances says, "What up, Max? What up, Tim Shea? What up, Patrick Collier? What up? We never got clarification on this, right? In regards to Patrick Collier, is he Patrick Collier or is he Patrick Collier? You never know. You never know, right? Patrick Collier is like, you know what, Max? I freaking gifted everybody a whole bunch of stuff here. I'm out of here. Gonna refer to me as a Frenchman. No, I'm kidding. All right. For all we know, what was it the Lafayette Escadrille, World War One? You ever see that movie? Flyboys. Remember that? Yes. Pretty cool. All right. Edward Vincent. Guy goes into a bar with a duck under his arm. Bartender says, "Where you get that pig?" Guy says, "This is a duck." Bartender says, "I was talking to the duck." All right. Corey Bibe. Good evening, Max. Good evening, everyone. Glad to have you here, Corey. Welcome back. Boom. You guys saw it in the avatar. You like that? Rodney Dangerfield? Yeah, gets no respect. Yeah. Me and my mom's, like favorite comedian probably ever. All right. Let's go further down. Let's also welcome GT, Carl Weathers, Arnold Schwarzenegger showing off their guns. Evening, everyone. Thank God it's Friday. Yes. Especially you guys were old school that remember on ABC back in the day when you were a kid. Maybe you weren't a kid. Maybe you're older than me at that time. Where you had the TGIF lineup. It was pretty cool. Back when things were a lot more simpler. All right. 2115. Let's go. Yes. Stump Rider, welcome. Stump Rider, I got I don't know if it's you or it was Stargazer. It's either I always sometimes because you guys got the S, maybe it was Stargazer. You said something like, Max, if we can't understand it, there's no point of playing it. So I have an update for you guys real quick. And basically, 279 did reach back, not 279, level 8 reach back. God, I see this is what happens when you're in pain all day with a sprained ankle. He replied back. I sent him a message in Japanese on a DM, and I said, "Hey, would you be willing to subscribe this?" See what I'm saying? I can't even talk tonight. I'm gonna try my best. Transcribe this. And he was just like, "You know what, Max? Thank you so much for all you do on YouTube and your videos and all that stuff. I already did that a while ago." I was like, "Really?" And he pointed me to it. So we do have that for you. And when we play that segment, I'll play the video on mute because let's face it, none of us are going to be able to understand Japanese. And there might be like one or two guys here. I don't know. But what I'll do is I will play this transcription and I'll read it verbatim while the video's playing. And then that way we can understand it. It's only going to be a quick segment. It's only going to be maybe like 3 minutes, if that. But stay tuned to that. Let's see how we're doing on likes. 17 likes, 28 people here. Please smash that like unless you're driving. We want you guys to enjoy your generational wealth for the future. You're not going to be able to do so if you're texting and driving, right? Yeah, don't do that. JC the man, Josh Cornwell, thank you for being here. Always flexing and pointing to his brain. That's good stuff, man. You know what? You're a smart kid. I'll tell you that much. It was nice to hear some of the things that you shared on, you know a lot of dates, man. That's really, really good. So keep up the good work with the knowledge, my friend. All right. GS is welcoming Stump. Landy Flowers, welcome. Guys, I haven't seen Landy Flowers before, so let's give Landy Flowers a welcome. Consider changing your name to something that speaks more about who you are or what you're about. And thank you for being here. All right. Going to welcome a few more of you guys. Ben, welcome back. Ben Toshfin, or is it Talkfin? Let us know. Nice looking truck you got there. Reverend J or Rev J, Word of Truth, welcome. Corey Bibe says, Max, have you heard about a meeting between Musk and McCaleb in August, or perhaps just internet rumors or BS? No, but now that you mention this, I will have to look more into that because you know what? Who doesn't want some stellar news? That's the bottom line, right? So that's cool stuff. What's the subject for tonight's show? A lot of it's going to be focused on, the recent partnerships for Jasmy. We have a nice QNT segment because we didn't talk about QNT yesterday. And then we also, I think, have a little bit of HBAR. There's a lot that happened that was posted today with HBAR. As you guys know, we don't really do the whole thing of WrestleMania every night. It doesn't make no sense. Somebody, like Brian Dowie waking up at 3 a.m. to... what happened? I mean, how is anybody, comprehending that so well to the degree where it's going to make any difference, right? It's got to be beneficial to me as a content creator, right? to have people listen and watching is also going to be beneficial to you guys. And ain't going to be beneficial. It's like, oh, there's this guy. He's kind of, he's got the Filipino ice cube thing going on. Kind of puts me to sleep. And shout to Magic Power with his teddy. Makes me want to just doze off with my sprained ankle. No, that's not going to do it, right? All right. Yeah, no problem, man. I mean, I'm trying to tough it out. I had to rest my foot, man. I was just like, it's just killing me. It was bad. It was really bad. All right. It was basically happened last night. I was trying to help my dad, and then I was trying to kind of help him up and stand up and stuff. He was about to fall, and I kind of caught him, and in the process of doing so, I sprained my ankle, and boy, did it hurt. And I haven't sprained my ankle since I was in the 8th grade. So yeah, sucks. All right. And like some of you guys know, remember, if you've been the hardcore guys, how did I sprain my ankle in the 8th grade? That'll be a little quiz for you guys. All right. Let's read a couple more comments. We'll kick in the outline because you guys have been patiently waiting. R. Anderson, it looks like XRP might drop at least, to 0.585. Do you think it's going lower than that? Let me see what's going on with this real quick. Hold on a second. XRP. Yeah, you know what? It could very well. I did state, and I've been mentioning this for a while since, I don't know, probably since last week, right? I said, guys, we're going to get a pullback. It's a lot of, even George, Cryptos R Us, he did this whole thing about recognizing the pullback. All right. I saw a little bit of his live. Some of you guys watch George, some of you don't. It's all right. But he is good with the TNA. But if you guys notice, all of a sudden, there's this big surge, everybody talking about, hey, you know what? The market's pulling back, but look at all these indicators for blast off. Have we not been talking about some of these things here probably for a good couple weeks, right? Even though we're a smaller channel, obviously, compared to all of those guys, we do try to provide you guys some good, solid content to back some of that up based off of actual data. Now you see everybody else kind of going on the bandwagon. I'm not saying he's going on the bandwagon. He knows his stuff. But my point is, this is going to fuel the fire for the debate of altcoin season. You know what I mean? Just because we see a lot of BTC and Ethereum dominance, 81% of the overall crypto market is dominated by them. A real true utility run just means that, the alts will dominate at some point. When do we get to that? Well, in my opinion, it is like 2025. But, if Jasmy and so on basically runs a correlation with those two, it's a big win. Now, back to what you're stating, I'll share this right now. In regards to XRP, I'm actually not going to share it right now because it's kind of, I don't know what's going on with this page, but it does state that we've had a major pullback with XRP. You know what I mean? Some of you guys feel as though that you've been patient. You didn't FOMO in at, was it 80 cents or more? We just basically shedded about 18 cents. So I would agree with you. I think that we are going to possibly go lower over the weekend. I'm also going to get a report when I'm not with you guys, right? Usually happens on either Saturday typically or a Sunday, typically Saturday though. It gives the week review. And when I come back with you guys on Mondays, I try to give you that review. So you better believe that, Charlie Shrimp, Luke Lango, and the boys from Investor Place, again, that's a premium service. And maybe a few of you guys are subscribed to it. I am annually. Those guys know their stuff. Like I mentioned, if you were literally, used to work for the LA Dodgers, data analytics, Philadelphia 76ers, data analytics, those guys focus their time on it. And they've been in crypto and studied blockchain, DLT, all that stuff for many years now. So my thing is they have enough data to support and they've been consistent with it. I want to see what's going to happen because before the report showed that there should be even that much more pullback going into mid-August, but we haven't gotten the true Fed pause. We've gotten a taste of it. I want to see an actual true Fed pause. I still believe that is the big step forward as far as getting the blast off that we need. We could talk all day long about various different cryptocurrencies, whether there's Jasmy, some of these other ones and so on. But in reality, we do need to have that market momentum to really, really get things pounded home and going in the right direction. Okay. I'll read. I'm sorry. I said I'll read a couple more comments. I am. I want to welcome back Dwight. He's just in time leaving the gym. Nice. Thanks, Max, for all you do. Well, thank you. It's nice being appreciated. I've seen some people even, on the live replays, people just who don't normally tune in here, but they'll watch the replays and they'll comment. It's very humbling. It's very nice to see that. Our numbers today might not be as great as they were yesterday because I understand I put the show up, let's face it, like a half an hour before it started. So people, doesn't give them enough time to get the notification. And I do apologize for that. It was a really hard day today. All right, let's welcome Magic Power. Of course, he's going to say, hello, guten Tag, the Liechtenstein Exchange. And just me in the house of the Rice Crop Consortium. All right, welcome. And there's the guy we're looking for. There's the other stepbrother, Maorb, a.k.a. Brian Dowie. Glad to have you here, Brian Dowie. Blackwood is also in the house. Glad to have you here, sir. Elon Muff, a.k.a. Crypto Mike. Taggies, LOL, is Quant. We'll get that in a second. All right. Let me just welcome a few more of you guys. Thank you so much, though, Mr. Elon Muff. All right. Let's see here. Edward Vincent. Everybody's welcome to each other. Selma Fudd is in the house. Welcome. Clean slate. Hey, awesome, man. From the recorded. I'm here for the impressions, prayers for the ink. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I should say, well, thank you, Clean Slate. I appreciate that. Now go back to Jesse, you bum. No, I'm kidding. All right. This last one. I swear this will be the last. Or I always say last one. Two more. Swear. Max sprained ankle racing down peak. Friends helped. Got to the hospital. Weeks of rest, crutches, learned balance of caution and adventure. Friends stuck by. Bond strengthened. Jeez, you should write a book, man. That's pretty good. What up with the chain link, Max? I'll have to check that out. I still say that the flood campaign is going to happen at any moment. All right. OG Crypto. Hey, Max, for Jasmy Ambassador. I did apply. I don't think I'm going to get it, but I did apply. Be easy. You were one of the guys I was talking about from the recorded. Thank you so much for being here, man. All right. I did get to all the comments, so for the most part, let's kick it into what we have. And let's start things off with Mr. Crypto Mike's Super Chat. All right. Because what's the point of having a Super Chat if it's not going to be read or if it's just going to go to Larry? All right, so let's go ahead and get into that, and let's see where it's at. And it's on Crypto Twitter, so let's pull this up. All right. Okay. He says Taggies, which means 13 minutes ago. We talked about this yesterday, my friend. This was yesterday's show, but you know what? You're busy. I'll show it, though. I'll show it nonetheless. We did talk about this yesterday. So not yesterday, the day before yesterday, because we didn't talk about, I don't think we talked about QNT yesterday. But yeah, Quant grant patent for chronologically ordering blockchain transactions. Yep, officially from the Quant network. We did share that. It's pretty cool stuff. I believe you even get to see it like straight from Gilbert Verdian, if I'm not mistaken, or Andrew Carrier. Yeah, I remember this lady. Yeah, we talked about this on the 1st of the month. It is pretty cool stuff, but we did talk about it a couple days ago. But you didn't know that, so you guys can more than check it out. Quant granted patent for chronologically ordering blockchain transactions. Obviously, it's pretty cool. I will talk about just for a brief moment once again. It states that this recognizes that Quant, this patent at least, has invented a unique method for chronologically ordering transactions from different blockchains. So, it's like, think about indexing, especially if you're old school, back in like the 80s and so on. Remember, you go to the library and then, you would use, for instance, like those indexing catalogs and so on. I'm sure you guys who remember before everything went to the new system, right? How, you used to have to go to that. And even it mentions something like this: prior to our research and development, different block times, the average time taken to generate a new block across blockchains meant that finding a definitive transaction over the method of multiple blockchains, one that a consortium could agree on, was a disjointed and inconsistent process. Again, they're always being innovative. I think that's the thing. You know, people say that Quant can't scale. What are you referring to? Are you referring to it because it's ERC20 token? Or are you referring to you're not understanding the concept of the over-ledger blockchain agnostic platform, right? I don't mean that disrespectfully, but that's just the reality of it. So there's this whole thing about it, but we had some other news for you guys. But I'm not dismissing it. And the other part I really liked was, you know how like every once in a while, I should say every once in a while, some people are like, you know, saying, Max, you put too much emphasis on us. Well, so what? You know? So what if I do? My thing is this. I believe in future interoperability through solid connections. Where am I going with this? Obviously, the Jasmy thing. I think that could actually be a future thing. You know what I mean? If they have stamped themselves in Japan and recognize this thing has enough momentum, why wouldn't you want to hook up with something like that? Oh, they're never going to hook up with a company like Jasmy. Oh, yeah? Why do they hook up with Nexera? Last I checked, Jasmy has a higher market cap than Nexera. Oh, I didn't think about that. Oh, well, a lot of people don't think a lot of things, you know? But anyway, look at this. The grant of Japan, the Japanese patent 7273053 recognizes that Quant has introduced a method to agree on a universal time zone for all blockchains. You understand, like GMT, Greenwich, was it Greenwich Mountain Time, or whatever it's called? Or medium time, sorry. Right? We base a lot of things off of GMT plus, 2 or 3, whatever time zone you're in. Well, shouldn't blockchains have a universal, time zone? I would agree. But the point is, those Japanese patents, what also did we see recently? A new Japanese patent from who? Kazumasa Sato. So, I don't think I'm too far off with some people say, oh, it's a stretch. Well, everything's a stretch until it gets confirmed, right? That's the way I look at it. And, we can apply Quant to so many different projects, right? But again, understanding what they got their stamp in Japan. That's really cool. All right, I'm going to kick it back to what we have, which is to start off the outline. And what I want to do is, before we get into the Quant outline officially, we're going to start things off with Jasmy, because I feel as though we should do so, because there's a lot of new news that happened here today in regards to Jasmy. So again, we got some Jasmy Q&T. We even have some Ripple XRP for it. All right. I'm also going to welcome April Cornwell. Glad to have you here. Newman is back. Welcome back, Newman. Cool Cat Crypto is in the house. Welcome back, everybody. Okay. Let's jump into it. And just got to make sure I get the right tabs up, because it kind of messed up the order, but that's okay. Maybe Mike Cornwell feels ripped off. I don't know. Here we go. Please smash that like. Let's just check how we're doing, and then I promise we'll get into that one. 29 likes, 43 people watching. We could do a little bit better on those likes, but I'm more than grateful. Don't hit the like if you're driving down the road. All right. Enough about all that. Here it is, straight from Hara, the one and only Hara-san. All right. So he states right here that he is very, very pleased to announce their partnership with DWF Labs. I almost called it like, DFW, right? Because I'm thinking of Dallas Fort Worth, or, not that. DFW Labs. If you wonder who they are, of course, on Twitter. They have over 15,000 followers, a little bit kind of, I guess you could say, somewhat new to Twitter. But nonetheless, it says building the future of Web3 together, global digital asset market maker. We talk about market makers, do we not? Now, at the very beginning of Jasmy, there's been some criticism in regards to that market maker. Is it the same market maker? I don't have the information. Maybe somebody does. I think maybe even Jesse of KIR Finance, Keeping It Real Finance, talked about that, in the past about some of these market makers. But that's besides the point, right? Here's the thing, right? If this is a new partnership and they are a global digital market maker, it kind of makes you think, well, yeah, this might be a new one. So I like the idea that they want to partner up with somebody who's going to take it maybe a little bit more seriously. And let's face it, we're getting to the point where we're going to get 100% circulating supply. We're all looking forward to that, fourth quarter lockup. So in my opinion, Jasmy's doing things the right way, right? They're getting their ducks lined up in the row, are they not? All right, so he mentions about, being very pleased about this. Together, they will work to expand their business on global levels. and we're going to jump over to the Medium and give you a little bit more info on this. So in the process of doing so, I want to get to some of these key highlights that we have here for you guys tonight. Again, please smash the like. I'll keep reminding you guys because it does help get the broadcast out to a broader base. Jasmy and DWF Labs, of course, announced this partnership to drive Internet of Things, blockchain growth, and improve data democratization globally. One thing I do like, even though Jasmy gets a lot of skeptics and, let's face it, the flutters come out of the woodwork, but you consistently see them not only trend, but trend for the right reasons. They're not taking their foot off the gas. They're not trying to just get comfortable. If anything, they're getting uncomfortable, right? That's good. So in this, it mentions that this whole thing about DWF Labs is going to promote the global expansion of the IoT blockchain sector to improve, like we mentioned, data democratization. Let's face it, Jasmy's all over data democratization, are they not? This is a shared vision of increasing blockchain tech adoption. Again, guys, the key thing is adoption. We need more of that adoption. And we could talk about personal data lockers all day long, but if we don't have, people hooking this up to the World Wide Web, again, that's not utility in motion. We got to get that utility in motion. So it mentions that these companies, their users and so on, makes this a natural next progression for both companies, Jasmy and DWF. Jasmy, of course, helps companies easily offer solutions to users that wish to maintain control and ownership of their personal data. I've seen some people who I'm being honest, man. Some people don't have a clue when it comes to what comes to what Jasmy's trying to solve. They think of this whole thing like, oh, they put too much focus on a personal data locker. Of course, they're going to put focus on a personal data locker. That is their main utility. While they have multiple layers of utility, they're going to focus on it. Just like Quant is going to focus on Overledger, right? Their operating system for interoperability, 100 plus blockchains and hundreds of use cases, right? So I think some of those, arguments are just kind of silly and invalid, to say the least. Jasmy, of course, works directly with Internet of Things manufacturers, non-high-tech enterprises, SMEs, and solution providers by offering an array of solutions such as its ready-to-use platform. If you didn't see the deep dive from the live, we had it chopped up. It's in the recorded section. Talks about former Jasmy executive that retired in 2021. But let's face it, Jasmy still has ties to this guy and what he brings to the table as far as Dreamforce, right? Also mentions some of these other things. I'm gonna get down to this. If you're wondering about, this is all, things I already know, Max. Get to some of this other good stuff. Well, one of the things that is specifically mentioned here is that DWF Labs brings this to the table, a full suite of solutions that will drive the ecosystem growth for Jasmy. I love hearing that. Do we not love to hear the whole idea of specifically an ecosystem? Obviously, you guys know I cover Stellar. I'm big on the whole idea of Sorbonne, right? Because I understand that is their premier smart contract platform. That is their plug. That is their connect to having a thriving ecosystem. So when you see things here about DWF Labs, this is not the grant program. This is a key partnership. And with that said, to have something that's going to be that proponent to bring in all sorts of other projects, that is a beautiful thing. Here's the thing, some people on the surface will say, I can't understand how Jasmy can bring in and build a robust ecosystem when they're a token. I thought they need to be their own blockchain first, have their own coin, and then make various other tokens from the ecosystem and so on. You're not understanding the bigger picture. There's other bigger players that can come into the mix for what? Internet of Things, right? We talked about yesterday on the show the whole idea about this one IoT device that tracks your golf swing or how you pitch a baseball, right? With the Dreamforce connection, with the with Yoshida, Okay. So a lot of these different IoT platforms are all going to provide their own beneficial, not just stance, but like, providing something to the greater cause, if you will. Like that's why I always use the whole, motion picture analogy. Like it doesn't matter if you're, a dolly grip, or you're, just simply assistant, or the guy getting the coffee, you know what I'm saying, right? All the way up to the, executive producer, director, actor, you name it. Everybody brings something to the table, right? Hence why, look at the highlight, just in case you missed it. I keep calling it DFW because that's just a habit. DWF Labs brings to the table, right? Full suite of solutions. This comment from Hara, not bad, right? He says he's pleased to be, see the partnership. Their cooperation is a significant force to their efforts to expand their ecosystem. Obviously, it's on their mind. They understand, Jasmy, that they can't just get it done on their own. That's the bottom line. I'm going to go a little bit further down on this. Specifically, it mentions the PDL provides strong security through passwordless authentication. Remember, we talked about how this is a new thing that simply makes sense. We talked about, I think earlier on the week, providing, I guess you could say, like a patent, or this new innovative approach. Again, I want you guys to literally visualize it in your mind, or through your subconscious photographic memory. Picture getting on a bus, picture getting on a bullet train, you name it, right? And you cannot have a situation where it's literally Jimbo Bob who's visiting Tokyo, and he's just like, all right, let's see here, my Jasmy Super Wallet. I don't know what that is. Okay, I forgot my password. Oh, Jim, there's a whole line behind this. There's now 100 people. Hold on. Let me click this real quick. Oh, my Wi-Fi connection's going bad. And then next thing you know, there's 1,000 people. You have absolutely ruined the flow. You can't have anything like that. If this is Society 5.0, it has to be like boom, boom, ready to go, continuous flow, right? We talk about scaling. That's literally physical scaling problem, right? Like, you cannot have a situation where, a line's going to back up like it's Los Angeles, traffic. I don't know if you guys ever been to LA. Oh my God, the worst traffic in all the United States. I don't care what anybody says. I know the Beltway's bad. I got some friends out in that area and so on. But I'll tell you flat out, if you ever seen some actual reports, LA traffic is like brutal. I remember literally being stuck in LA traffic for 2.5 hours just to go 4 miles. It was the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen. Anyway, yeah, this solution eliminates the need for those passwords. We talk about that. Andrei Grashev, he's the managing partner over at I keep calling it DFW. It's a habit because of Dallas Fort Worth. Sorry. DWF Labs, as quote, we are excited about our partnership with Jasmy to drive greater awareness of the IoT blockchain sector. We look forward to seeing how our collective efforts and respective expertise will accelerate data democratization globally. This guy, Andre, is not saying, well, I looked at the chart all time for Jasmy, and I was just like, yeah, those fudders are right. Like, I just can't get involved with a company like this. Give me a break, man. Seriously. We know about all this stuff about Jasmy. But again, the whole point is this right here, right? I love this. Jasmy's team is composed of members with diverse and rich experience in electronics, mechanics, telecommunications, devices, system integrators, and designers on a mission to provide the best, not just like, oh, okay, one of the best. Literally, they always pound this home. The best Internet of Things platform for their customers around the world. Give a shout out to Menelect, aka Candlestick Maker, right? How many times has he basically posted within the last few months that he feels as though that Jasmy is like the godfather of IoT? Maybe because he gets it too, right? If you're going to make a statement that you're going to provide the best IoT platform, you better be able to back that up. And for people who are flooding Jasmy saying it's not able to scale, again, we already showed you guys that they can scale. Check out the deep dive video from, I don't know, a few days back, right? Pretty cool stuff. Okay. You can check out a little bit more in regards to DWF Labs. Website is on available on this medium. They have Twitter. They have all this stuff. All right. What I'm going to do from here is I'm going to take just a brief pause to kick it back into the comments. If I don't do it, we won't have a good flow. And then, you know what? I'll be too behind on the comments. So we still have more Jasmy for you guys. Let's just read a few more that we have. I want to welcome Andrew Davis. He says, what up, Max? Hey, everyone. Happy Friday, baby. Yes, happy Friday. Congrats to you all for making it through your work week. And appreciate you guys being here with us on this Friday. I'm going to double check the other screen. We're at 37 likes. We have 48 people watching. That's not bad. Please smash the like if you haven't done so already. And welcome again, Andrew Davis. All right. L. Wright Sr., welcome back. He says, good evening, Max and gang. Glad to have you back. L. Wright Sr., hello to Junior, wherever he's at. All right. When you hear DFW, I think airport. Yes, I think of that immediately too. Like, it's just, I think airport, I think Dallas-Fort Worth. It's just a habit, man. And of course, you and being in San Antonio area, that makes sense too. Japan rise it bond rate today. All right, let's welcome Nilo B. He says, "You're well with an avatar like that. I do recognize you. Welcome back. I'd be saying you're too. I'd be like, do it, yeah, do it now. Smash the like, do it for Max, do it now. All right, all right. Thank you for being here, Nilo. We're going to get further into some of the comments. L. Wright Sr., Jasmy is part of Japan's overall plan to regain its house. And I think we're towards the bottom. Tennessee Ecoman, welcome back. Glad to have you back. L. Wright Sr. says SSI equals data lockers, PDL equals Jasmy. That's one way of looking at it. And oh my gosh, look who we have here. It's the one, the Humpty Dance is your chance. Don't, baby. It's the Humpty Dump. It's the Humpty Dump. All right, yeah. Welcome back to Badir, aka Hump Not Dump, crypto winner. He says, yo, 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 yo. What's up, fam? Glad to have you back, man. Longtime regular member of the CTN family. Let's welcome back the one and only Hump Not Dump. All right. Michael Montclair is also here. Welcome, welcome. His DCA to $10 on XRP is today. Oh. And Brittany's welcome, everybody. All right. We're going to jump back to the outline of what we have for Jasmy. And in the process of doing so, we're going to get into a few more things. Now, we were talking, obviously, about DWF Labs. I'm going to give you a little blast from the past because, you know, this is something I basically do on a regular, right? All right. So here it is. Let's pull this up. And thank you for helping us tick up into the 50s. Maybe we can get into the 60s. Please smash the like if you're just tuning in. We are covering the hot topic of the day of the Jasmy new partnership with DWF. Yes, I said it right this time. So CoinDesk actually has this little piece from a while back, all the way back in April 14th, 2023. Last update on May 8th, which is, I guess, a special date for Mr. Squidward. You know where I'm going with that. Anyway, DWF. God, I see how hard that is to like get out of that habit. DWF Labs made headlines with a flurry of investments in crypto projects such as, and this is good, even though you're not going to see Jasmy listed, I got to give you some background. Oh, I see what Max is doing. Max does do that, don't he? Yes, that's right. You know, I'm not just going to send you back to Jersey, you bum, without no freaking proper deep dive research. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. So, Crypto GPT, that sounds bullish. You know, think about Chat GPT. Crypto GPT, did you ever hear of such a thing? That sounds cool, don't it? Or synthetics. A closer examination reveals that many of their deals aren't typical venture capital investments. However, the firm says it's all a misunderstanding. Well, is it? I'm not trying to flood it, but this is something that was pointed out a while back. So, there is all sorts of things that was mentioned here. The giants of crypto venture capital are mostly a well-known group of firms that have been around for years. Companies such as A16Z, Paradigm, Pantera Capital. What do they do at Pantera Capital? Are they like, you know, breaking the law, buying some crypto? I don't know. I'm just saying, you know, that's not Pantera, but you get what I'm saying. And digital currency group CoinDesk parent. So the quick and loud emergence of a firm called DWF Labs as a seemingly large player in space over the past few months caught many by surprise. And if anything, it might have caught you by surprise because maybe you just saw, what happened with Jasmy, and that's all you know about this, right? So it says it announced through a press release and media organizations such as CoinDesk and The Block a slew of investments in projects, including $40 million for internet alternative provider Tomi, $40 million for artificial intelligence related token Fetch AI, and $10 million for AI focused crypto data project Crypto GPT. And I'll be honest, that has got me interested. Crypto GPT, like, I want to see what that's all about. So if anything, I'll probably play around with that, learn more about it, but I'm not gonna do it on the live show. But we got to get back to the topic of obviously about DWF, right? Because this is, a new partnership, obviously, with Jasmy. Let's try to see a little bit more about who they are, what they're about, and, why not? So it says, their founders basically made their money as crypto high frequency traders. It says it isn't exactly a venture capital firm, not, always at least, right? There's more to it than just being a VC. It talks about some of their headlines that they have with crypto projects as investments. It says DWF Labs actually functions, and listen to this, more like an over-the-counter OTC trading desk. The company typically approaches a crypto project with a token, offers to buy millions of dollars worth of the token at a discount to market value. Hence why we're showing about the whole thing about like the new market maker, if you will. According to conversations with several crypto projects that have worked with DWF. But it says DWF Labs says it's all a misunderstanding. There might be some questions on the use of the word investment. According to DWF Labs partner Stefano Virgili. Quote, when we use the word investment to use the most important thing, to us, the most important thing is that we are purchasing the tokens and they're using the funds to further develop. That is an investment, he added. Well, you see some of the new things that Jasmy especially is trying to accomplish and so on. There's, of course, controversy about some of this stuff. I don't think it's to the degree where, like, oh my God, why point this out? But you know what? We should all be objectionable to certain things and also hold certain partnerships accountable. Like if there's anything that is worth pointing out, right? So I'm not going to read all this top part right here, but where I want to get to is where it says that there's this whole thing about early stage investments. On this, it says there is a project that has not yet launched a token. Investors, of course, receive a simple agreement for future tokens. And, there's other market makers, or I should say market maker organizations that do something similar to this. But I want to point this out for a second. Basically speaking, it says investors will receive a simple agreement for future tokens, which is called SAFT. It's a contract that outlines the tokens allocated to the investor if the project launches a token in the future. DWF Labs investments are more like an ad HOC in nature, and the company primarily selects for projects that they have already launched a token. While DWF Labs refers to itself as a global Web3 venture capital and market maker or multi-stage Web3 investment firm, in his press release, the deals are often presented as strategic partnerships that can include token acquisitions, market making services, pledges to boost a token's liquidity and trading volume, and additional support with marketing and media presence. This is the key area I want you to pay attention to. Do you know where I'm going with this? This is the juicy part that you've been waiting for. So, as you guys know, what is one of the main things that Jasmy has been heavily criticized for many, many months now, or maybe over a year? And that is basically the marketing. You know what I mean? So you think just because, some of us tweet and we feel as though, well, I tagged Hara, but he doesn't respond. Okay, so what if he doesn't respond? He's Hara. That'd be like me tagging Gilbert Verdi in a quant. Is he going to respond? Probably not. His focus is not on retail. You know what I mean? But if anything, some of these guys do at least acknowledge and see that there's tags, and especially if it's, consistent. I mean, I don't care who you are. You can be the most famous guy of all crypto Twitter. If you're getting tagged consistently, right? Let's say, I'm just gonna throw out a number, right? I think this is low balling it, but I think I'm being, accurate with this. If I was like Hara or Gilbert Verdian or whoever, Danelle Dixon, you name it, right? A key proponent or leader in blockchain innovations and so on. My thing is, if I see over 100, Crypto Mike, he tags me. He says, Max, tags. Right, let's say I'm one of these big ones. If I get tagged over 100 times, I don't have to read every single one of them. But if it's consistently the same thing get brought up, you think they're really going to be that dismissive? I'd be like, I'm blind. Who cares? No, they're going to see that. And then you better believe when it comes to Jasmy, one of the consistent things that got brought up a lot was the marketing. You guys want to expand to the United States. You guys want to have a, Sony, blockchain PC or secure, PDL, right? You want to have these computers that basically have the personal data lockers and, that plug and play device that we love the concept of, but we want it hooked up to Web3, right? But one of the consistent arguments or complaints was that may work very well in Japan, but over here in the United States, you do need to have some kind of media presence, okay? We understand that the product will speak for itself, and I think eventually we'll get to that, right? And they do a great job with it. Sony's done an amazing job with having their products speak for themselves in the past, right? But this is, in my opinion, the underlying thing that you might not see Hara officially just come out and say, hey, you know what? We've seen the complaints, right? And here's our reaction. They don't need to come out and word it that way. But that is honestly, in my opinion, what is going on. You can read more about this, right? They got this whole thing about how this quote, DWF Labs invests in digital asset companies and supports existing markets, enabling digital asset companies to sell their tokens for upfront capital without advertising price impact. That right there sounds pretty good, because you know what? Jasmy sometimes does take a price. The price of the actual tokens are impacted. So is this necessarily a bad thing? I don't think it is. And if anything, for them to team up not just with one individual market maker who, let's face it, when they first started, I'm with Jesse on this one, with KIR fans. I don't think maybe this guy really knew what he was doing. But now look at where we're at. All right. If that pathway forward says we need, to embrace innovation, but we need somebody that is going to be focused again for the greater good of what's going on. Again, come like I was mentioning, a Hollywood big budget movie or something. You're really going to hire, if your budget basically is to make a major production, like we're talking like Avengers style budget, and you're going to do it on the cheap, like it's, the Blair Witch Project budget, that's not going to get the job done. Goes down here, the industry standards that, these contracts should be separated. Sorry, I didn't get that part. Even though the lines between the two divisions can be blurred sometimes by the market makers, some industry observers have grown concerned about DWF's recent activity in seemingly packaging different services under partnerships. Well, they're not just into one specific thing. And of course, CoinDesk, other outlets are going to complain about this, but my thing is this: let it speak for itself. If we get what we need, and that is proper investment of the marketing, is that such a bad thing? At the end of the day, there's going to be all sorts of outlets, whether it's mainstream, as you see right here, or even through the community that will FUD Jasmy and find ways to do it and so on. Well, Max, you're just basically doing that right now. I don't think so. And in closing, I want to show you this real quick. These two things before we kick it back in the comments, because I don't want to make this necessarily all focus on this, because we got a little bit more on the show to get into. But it says DWF managing partner Andrei Grashev defended the firm's token maneuvers. And this, if we're talking about all this, got to give them a chance to defend themselves, right? In a recent tweet, calling it dumb if a market maker leaves all the acquired or borrowed assets in a wallet because an MM could create markets, provide depth, improve order execution instead of doing nothing and waiting when the market is skyrocketing to execute its call options. At least they address the elephant that's in the room, do they not? That's pretty cool. All right, one last thing, because this is a key new sponsor or partnership with Jasmy. I want to point some of this out. So, it's one thing to say, oh, here's Jasmy's new sponsor. Oh, or sponsor partnership. Cool. It's only cool if you understand like what they bring to the table. So here is their strategy, and then we'll kick it into the comments here in a bit. DWF Labs launched in September as an investment focus arm. So September of 2022. Investment focus arm of Digital Wave Finance, a top high frequency trading firm that trades spot and derivatives on over 40 exchanges. That is worth pointing out. That is impressive, according to the firm's press release. Grashev, who we just referenced here earlier, told CoinDesk that DWF Labs funding comes from the money earned from profits of the high frequency trading business. Grashev also worked as a crypto exchange in Huobi's head office in Russia in 2018, leading the firm's expansion in the country. But we have also referenced Huobi in the past with Jasmy and so on, and I understand there's connections there. Grashev denied that the firm has received any funding from Russia, a rumor circling within the crypto industry. Of course, they're going to circulate those rumors. I mean, think about it, there's a lot of, even if you were to talk to somebody off the street, somebody mentions, I hate to say this because I think generalizations for the most part are bad, but Russia does get one of those bad generalizations. Let's just be honest. And that's going to circulate. Grashev said that the firm has multiple types of investments, some with token lockups. And here's another one. Here's some of your other juicy stuff. Token lockups. Let's address the other elephant in the room. All right, Max, you can't have two elephants in one room, bro. You just can't do that. We can do it for this example, can we not? So yes, let's address the other big elephant in the room. All right, you guys know I like to connect the dots when it comes to things, and I know understand that some of this stuff may seem kind of out there and speculative, but just hear me out. So at the end of this year, a lot of us have talked about the whole concept of the Q4 lockup. Is it going to be all at once? In my opinion, no. That's not going to make sense, especially with the Bitcoin halving coming up in April 2024. Again, my analogy of you're going to have a 4th of July spectacular, Independence Day spectacular, New Year's Eve spectacular, fireworks and so on, and you're going to shoot off the grand finale at the beginning? No. Nobody would do that. Jasmy, that team is not stupid. I don't think they're going to do that either. But token lockups, is this their plug? Hear me out. Is this the connect when it comes to Q4 lockup? Now, you, of course, haven't heard anything recent in regards to this, and it is the topic that's going to get brought up at some point in the future AMA before the end of the year. But could this very well be, like I said, their plug, their connect to getting the job done for the Q4 lockup? Some people say no, Max, they don't need them to do that. True, but if you're hiring them, basically to take some of the tokens and using it for marketing purposes and so on, they are their new market maker, if you will. Wouldn't that make a little bit of sense? I think it would. It states, when we get more into this, that we prefer to have tokens. Look at this is from Grashev, but we also have several equity deals, but frankly, with equity is not our strong side. And then it also goes on to mention, while that said, that DWF Labs usually do not include market-making deals in our venture side, this guy, Grashev, later admitted that we have pure investments without market making. We have market making without investment, and we have them combined. This last quote, as a market maker, because I mean, the reason why I'm pointing this out is because a lot of times that people have pointed out, who is Jasmy's market maker, especially Mike Cornwell, right? Crypto Mike, he was doing leverage. I'll never forget that day he called me up. Oh my God. My Jasmy went down like 30%, 35% in like 5 minutes or something like that. And it wrecked his leverage. Well, he was like, who the hell is their market maker, right? Well, how about who's their new market maker, right? Could we just, be blunt about that? So it says, as a market maker, of course, we support our portfolio. If we invest, we will provide much more liquidity to the project compared to if we don't invest. There's a lot more about this, guys. I just want to get to this part, and this is it. And I'm not going to get to the very, very end because it just kind of rambles on. It says, when asked about DWS investment strategy and due diligence, Grashev talked about focusing on 5 sectors. And I want you to hear me out on this for a second. TradeFi, DeFi, GameFi, centralized exchanges, and even AI. Doesn't everything that's mentioned there obviously literally say, yeah, what Jasmy is trying to, basically accomplish, especially with the whole AI plug here in a bit? It says, and aiming to have, quote, high or have stakes in all major chains in order to have access to their ecosystems. Their ecosystems. Remember talking about building out their ecosystem? Jasmy says the firm looks for projects with life and traction. He said, checking social media posts and what exchanges their token is listed on. Doesn't that sound good? You don't want to just onboard anybody and everybody, right? Quality over quantity. Exactly. So that's basically just about it. You could read more about this and so on. It goes into some of the key things and so on about, like, for instance, synthetics, the treasury, all this stuff. And, just more detailed stuff. But as far as the juicy stuff, as far as what I think is, the plug, the connect, if you will, I think this is basically it. And let's face it, nobody else is really talking about it, right? About the whole Q4 lockup. But you get little indicators about, that's interesting. Let's pay attention to that. Glad to bring it to you guys. Please smash the like if you haven't done so already. Let's kick it back to the comments. We do have a little bit more in regards to Jasmy for you. I know it seems like it's dominating the show, but rightfully so. There's a lot that has gone on recently with Jasmy. All right. I'm also, of course, going to show you the demo of that, what was transcribed. But again, please smash that like. Let's get back to the comments. And I'm glad everybody's saying hello to the one and only Hump Not Dump, aka Badir Crypto Winter. Okay. All right. Let's see. Crypto Holmes 777. Welcome. Glad to have you here, sir. Welcome back. Someone Flood said those institutions shorting the hell out of XRP. All right. Crypto Homes just bought the XRP dip. Nice. I'm glad you guys recognize that stuff. I mean, that was a significant dip, All right. Tennessee EcoMan says Ajax, as in Singularity.net, and Fetch are looking nice. Both could 30 to 50x from current market. Yeah. Man, that was one, there's always at least one that got away. Someone's talking about, like, the girl got away, right? Well, for me, we were covering Ajax since last year, roughly 4 cents. And it's just like, oh, man, should have got a big bag of that. But you know what? Maybe with this last pullback, let me see with what we have for Ajax real quick. The prices. Let me see what we got. Down to, you know what? Down to about roughly 20 cents. Maybe I make a position, not just now. I'm going to see what's going to happen. But that is still one on my list. Just wish I would have got it at 4 cents. But, coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? All right. Tennessee Whiskey. You enjoy that, my friend. You deserve it with all the crap that you had to go through this week, Somo. I am so sorry, my fellow brother. Boom. You enjoy it. Hopefully, you got something to pair up with it. Are you going to drink it with some Coke? What are you going to do, my friend? Or you just, just casually do something else? I don't know. Worth every thumbs up given. Thank you so much, Clean Slate. I really appreciate that. All right, let's read this from Crypto Winner, Hump Not Dump. It says Curve Finance founder sells 72 million. CRV brings TradingView 1 day ago. Michael Igorov, the man behind the automated market maker, Curve Finance, has offloaded roughly 72 million Curve DAO token. I don't know if it was Michael Montclair or somebody else gave me some of that information a while ago. We didn't have a chance to share it, but thank you for that. I mean, it kind of like old news now, but it's still worth pointing out. We are at 50 likes. Please smash that like. Let's get into a few more comments. Michael Montclair says his poor little DCA. That's why he was laughing. It's small DCA, but it shows everything matters at the end. You know what? Slow and consistent, sometimes does win the race. You know what I mean? Like the classic tale of the tortoise and the hare. All right. Let's welcome also Boomer Sooner. He says, here for the like, me and with drinking in the pool. Well, if you can somehow hear me from your pool, I want to give you a shout out in the pool and I'd be like, Boomer F it sooner in the pool. Mr. Boomer F it sooner. Welcome, Boomer F it sooner. All right, Ripple has a minority stake with Bitstamp. Just found that out. Huge for XRP. All right, thanks for the info. My bad fist for everyone. Yes, everybody has to get fisted, as you guys would say. Boy, oh boy. Go back and get fisted in Jersey, you bum. No, I'm kidding. Selma, when do you think XRP wakes up and reverses course? We will see, but that's a good question. That's for Selma. The one and only GF Burke is in the house. Welcome, Burke. Man, you have some good looking gourmet style spuds that you made, man. That was pictures. Guys, I'm telling you flat out, follow Burke over on Twitter. He's got some yummy looking spuds. Just, I don't know if you did the salt and pepper with a little bit of garlic or whatever, but man, it looked like restaurant quality. Look really, really good, man. All right. Humnot Dump says, sounds like DWF is going to be the new Alameda Research. Oh, you're trying to flood the Jasmy. I see what you're saying. You probably don't like Jasmy. That's all right. All right, let's go further down. GF Burt, yo, man's finally caught up on work bits. Miguel says hello to everyone. Thank you for being here. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Glad to have you here. Mi hermano, Miguel. All right. What else we got up in here? You catch a rerun, run flowing like a... Oh, geez. Okay. You guys are unwinding. All right, Summer Flood. I can't put a date on it, especially after this plunge. Lambo, but it's definitely Q4 should spike up. All right. Let's see here. Grab some more Polygon. That's good. How much is Polygon right now? Let me look this up. 66 cents, roughly, give or take. And just like you said, 66 cents for a Polygon is a no-brainer, but I do see Polygon possibly hitting 59 cents. Yeah. All right, let's see here. Not up. That's the thing. Powell and his soft landing strategy got us in this stagflation. Your thoughts? I believe I've been in stagflation since November of last year. Been following this closely, my friend. You know, we try to give everybody a weekly report. So usually those reports come out on Saturday. As far as the service I have, I do pay for it. It's an annual subscription, but it's well worth it for me. Like I said, these guys are right about 9 out of 10 times. I don't dismiss that. You know, so my thing is this, all right? I have pointed out that if we get a true Fed pause, that's blast off. I thought the last time around was going to be like an actual Fed pause. It was more like a temp, a true Fed pause. They back it up with that data, and that is what I want to see. I think we're still going to have more pullbacks here in August. I do want to see some more of that report. I want to see what's going on with that chart and so on. But yeah, like an actual real true Fed pause where, you know, Powell and the rest of the gang is, I don't know, let's face it, going to give us some good news, hopefully. Well, again, you know, if you think I'm just pulling this out of a magic hat, I'm not. Again, I'll reference George from Cryptos R Us. He talked about all of this literally on his show, yesterday's show, right? Talked about a little bit because he's good with the TNA. I'll give him credit on that. He's good with the TNA. And it's like literally a mirror effect of what we saw last time around. So, you know, that's why we do pay attention to like these boom cycles and so on. This is nothing to dismiss. Even if a person was like, you know what, Max, I think you're full of crap. We don't get to some of these crazy price levels. I could kind of somewhat agree with the concept of maybe not getting to 300K BTC, but I mean, even at 100K BTC, am I going to complain about that? No, I'm not. So my thing is this: we're not only going to hit new all-time highs for quite a few of these alts, but for some of you guys that are invested in both, you know, the ones that dominate, you know, BTC dominated, obviously BTC and Ethereum and so on. It's not necessarily about like owning a full one of those, right? Some of you guys own a quarter, maybe you own half. But again, those still dominate 81% of the overall crypto market. We're not to the point where the alts are going to dominate yet, but I'm still following that as well. Because again, and it's a true utility run, the utility run that will put the whole freaking market on its back in the days of BTC dominance and ETH and so on. There's no way that will be 81% by, you know, like 2025. Don't get me wrong, it will still be somewhat dominating, but I don't think it's going to be, controlling 81% of the market. Maybe 60. I don't know. Maybe some people don't agree with me on that, and it's okay. Again, for me, I don't just base on opinions. I just literally look at okay, what's the data show, and what's going on with inflation, what's going on with some of the jobs reports, and all of it, right? Because it's all worth paying attention to. All right. OG Crypto, I want to welcome you. Thanks for the show. You got to go. Great job, Max. Thank you. You can watch what's chopped up later. No problem. Take it easy, OG. 714, you posted that not too long ago. River's in the house. Thank you for being here, River. Hump Not Dump says, man, I see Ethereum like the girl who got away ever since I found out Jimmy Diamond owns ETH. Oh, yeah. I mean, Ethereum is totally the girl that got away. I mean, if you look at where Ethereum was many years ago and where it is, even where it is now. I mean, if we don't even count what happened, back in, it was 11/11/2021. Yeah, it absolutely is the one that got away, whether it's slow or not. All right. Burke says they're all homegrown in regards to the spuzz. That's cool, except the beer. That's all right. Glenn Anderson, Big Sell Max. I better buy some more Jasmy. Cool. All right. Welcome back, Glenn Anderson. Surf's up. You got to get with Wayne's side, and let's get into it. Let me just take a sip off the fat juice, as you guys would say. The light mango, whatever you want to call it. All right. So we're going to get back to what we have remaining in regards to some of the Jasmy. And I want to show you guys something, like I said, that maybe you weren't aware of. And it's okay if you weren't aware of it. That's all right. No big deal. All right. People think maybe I make a big deal about some things, but it's not that big of a deal. Let me just move this along to over here. And let me just sort this out for a second. Shoot. Okay. Yeah, let's get into this. There's another big report from Jasmy. All right. So we do talk not just about the partnerships, we also talk about the grants program. Jasmy is not the only one that does, grants, funding, and so on, right? We've seen this quite a bit. Stellar, Hedera, you name it, right? So check this out. And this is from officially Jasmy Grant. So, of course, it says they're thrilled to announce. Let me double check something. Okay, we're good. Yeah. All right. Start that over. Jasmy Grant. They're thrilled to announce that after the strictly selected Jasmy Grant got a new participant, and basically it's BBB. If you're wondering, is this the Better Business Bureau? No, it's not the Better Business Bureau. This is a particular P2P, peer-to-peer, community-driven prediction market platform. Wow, that sounds like a mouthful. They have about 12,000 followers. It says empower social-fi by enabling users to monetize their emotions and opinions through debates and predictions. I think this one stands out. There's other grants that were selected, and some of those are great. Some of those are maybe not as great as the other ones. But if we're talking about Jasmy and talking about the whole concept of monetizing your data, having that option where instead of just you freely give it over, but having the option to monetize it, well, wouldn't this one stand out? I think it would. But this is the latest in regards to the bunch. And like it talks about, here, right in that regard, BBB definitely allows this, I guess you could say, way of being able to do that, right? And it's the first indicator of an actual platform to monetize not just your data, but some of the emotions and so on, like having a debate about things on a social platform. We'll have to follow what goes on with this. Obviously, it's brand new, so there's not a lot that's going on or available, right? But that was one I wanted to point out. Jumping into the next part, what we have for a lineup, I'm going to share this, and this is something I shared yesterday. But this time around, I have it transcribed for you guys. So I did ask Mr. what's his name? Level 8. Here's what I literally, not what I asked him specifically, but his reply back. He says, in the interpretation, because I had to send to him in Japanese. He says, "Good evening, Max. Thank you for always posting on YouTube. There was something I already just transcribed." All right, so I am going to jump back to what we have for this, and I'm going to play it. And if anything, I'll keep it on this tab, and then I'll get into the next part of what we have. It's going to be muted because obviously you don't want to hear the Japanese, but I want you guys to see the screen. So I'm going to come into, I think I'm going to do like full screen on this one. Give me a second and share what this means. All right, give me a second. Okay, let's go ahead and play this. Here we go. And let's go ahead and start playing this. All right. Okay. So, is it even playing? Oh, it's not playing. All right, give me just a moment. Sorry about that. All right, here we go. I gotta mute that, my bad. All right, here we go. So he's stating here that, well, let me blow it up a little more. It says, here is an image of the individual management screen of the personal data locker. When you log in with your user ID and password, a screen like this will appear. What is displayed here is the so-called personal information or user entered data. What you see here is the name of the target application, which is in the upper row. Let's just double check that. Okay, so he is pointing to that. Play a little more. Goes on to mention that the screen is divided into two. The gray area is information that the user has already given permission to publish. The yellow area below indicates that the user has not opened the target application. And I forgot to mention earlier, this is from yesterday. This is a demo of the Jasmy personal data locker management tool. This actually literally shows you how they go about selecting different applications for the PDL. I'm going to play a little bit more of this. It says the screen is divided into two. I talked about that. It states that the gray area is information that the user has already given permission to publish. The yellow area below indicates that the user has not opened the target application. All right, there's only about 20 seconds left on this, so just pause it right there about the yellow area. Goes on to also mention, this allows the user to easily manage what information is disclosed or permitted to be used by the target application. Okay. We're going to jump to the next part of what we have, which is this. This is the second part of the video. And at the end, of course, it shows, what's his name? Haragawa. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but all right. So here's the next part. Let's go ahead and play this. Sorry about that. Let me mute that. All right, let's play this. And on this one, it talks specifically about, it says to make it easier to sort this much information into categories, for example, basic information, job-related information, and so on. It says that, you can put your company address or their company address, company phone number, so on, basic stuff. This allows for an application. It says in the yellow area, let me see where we're at on this. Okay, I see that you guys can still see it. So in this yellow area that you see him kind of thumbing around in, it basically talks about, hold on, let me go jump back to that. This is a way you can disclose the individual data to whom can be easily disclosed. There will be, this is, again, not the best interpretation, but he says, we will use data while acknowledging the will of individuals. So, like, again, not freely handing it over. So since it is protected by a blockchain, it remains in the form of an unalterable record / log, so it can be confirmed and verified later. Isn't that the whole point? Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to play any more of that. Anyway, glad to share that with you guys. And if anything, it's nice to see some kind of visual demo about it and so on. The point was, if you got to zoom in, maybe with your phone, because you have a zoom in function, you can actually see some of the areas where he selects different applications and so on. They seem kind of boring, but you want to know something? It's cool to actually get the interpretation, understand what he's saying. All right, so shout out to Level 8. When we chop this up later, thank you, sir, for providing that transcription. Really do appreciate it. Before we kick it back into the comments, I also want to show and share, I should say, a few more things that we have for you guys. And actually, on this one, we'll pause to kick it back to comments because this one is a little bit time consuming. After the Jasmy segment, we will get into some QNT. And then after that, we will get into some XRP and some Hedera. Please smash that like. Thank you for being here tonight. All right, let's also welcome Magic Power. I think I welcomed you earlier. Yeah, I did. All right, Hum Not Dump says, do you think after watching LTC having come and go, nothing happened, will BTC be the same? Litecoin is the most traded coin in the world. I don't know, man. I mean, I know some people are going to feel like that's it. But, you know, I still think there's a lot of retail FOMO that basically still happens with BTC. But I'm glad you're pointing some of that out, you know, and maybe just give it a few days or something, see what happens with that. Worthy of a mention, though. All right, let's go further down into the comments. Does anyone have a Web3 laptop? No. I mean, I guess I could get one of those Avita, you know, Sony, what do we call it, like Jasmy, Avita secure blockchain PCs, but I don't know. I'm happy with what I got, but you know. Anyway, Web3 will allow individuals to not only own and control their data, but also get reimbursed for their online time. Okay. All right. Humpty, that ETHgate, a real thing. All right. Let's go ahead and highlight that. We're going to jump back to our coverage for Jasmy. Please, again, smash that like if you haven't done so already. We're at 55 likes. And what we're going to show you here is the next part of the Jasmy coverage. This part is really, really something else, at least I thought. This is also from Level 8. Let's go ahead and jump into this. All right. So you can't understand what's on the screen. I get that. So if anything, I'm going to translate it for you guys, okay? So check this out. And you may feel as though at first, when I try to get it more into this, you may feel as though it's like just speculative. It's a nothing burger. Nope, not the case. I already went ahead and reviewed this earlier. I want to share this with you, all right? So we will obviously talk about Kunitake Ando for a brief bit. It's worth pointing out, you know, give credit where credit's due. Maybe some people don't like me doing this, but we're going to get to some of the key parts of why this is going to make sense. So it says, for instance, speaking of Taiwan, we are at Kunitake Ando's home. All right, this comes from Sony.com, you know, Japan section, if you will, their link, right? It's been translated. Here's the source if you want to view it for yourself. But, you know, this was a while back, August 23rd, 2005. So hear me out. Of course, it says he received the Taiwan Executive 1 Second Class Merit Award. Kunitake Ando, of course, received Second Class Achievement Medal from Taiwan's Executive 1. A conferment ceremony was held in Taiwan all the way back then. It's like this really honorable thing. This award, of course, recognized Ando's contributions to Taiwan's economy through Sony's business activities over the years. The award was given, of course, to those who have made significant contributions to Taiwan's economy. Ando is the first overseas company and individual to receive the award. On top of that, as a business manager, Ando built a cooperative relationship with Taiwan from the time he was devoting himself to the development and commercialization of the, and I know Burke doesn't like me talking about VAIO, I must state it, darn it, of the VAIO personal computer. He had come in the states that even after taking office as president back in the year 2000, he opened up 2 R&D centers and contributed to the development of technology together with Taiwanese companies through Sony's business. Goes on to mention about the IPO. It goes on to mention about the whole thing about Sony Group's business. That's not the point. But this right here. To date, Sony has expanded its business in Taiwan in the fields of electronics, entertainment, and content, making Taiwan an important business base in the ever-developing Asian region. Now, just real quick, I'm sure a lot of you guys have been paying attention to the threat of war, what's going to happen potentially by 2028 when it comes to mainland China and Taiwan. Some people feel as though it's a ticking time bomb. There's a lot that's to be emphasized there, right? Largest semiconductor producer country in the world when it comes to that. All right, we're going to get into some of this in a bit. It says, quote, "It's a great honor to receive such a prestigious award. Taiwan occupies an important position in the world of IT industry. They're committed to long-term strategic cooperation with Taiwan's world-class IT industry." I'm going to get to the good stuff here in a bit. "We have been able to achieve development by building a strong partnership with Taiwanese industry. And they believe that this is a result of receiving this honor, but would like to use this honor as a new starting point to grow together in the future." And then if you go further down here, it talks about this. It says Japan Advanced Semiconductor Manufacturing. It's majority owned by TSMC, which is Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, the world's largest semiconductor contract manufacturing company. It is a subsidiary, and listen to this, guys, company in which Sony Semiconductor Solutions and Denso participate as minority shareholders. All right, let me show you guys this real quick. It says, yeah, for instance, like Jasmy, what a coincidence. I don't know more than that, but I'm sure it will be involved. I'm convinced that, or JASM, I should say, not Jasmy. He's convinced that Jasmy is in the culmination of engineers who have devoted their lives to pursuing people's interests. It's the culmination of Kunitake Ando. So my thing is this, all right? This is strategic. This is a big deal. If we're talking about them expanding, it's one thing to be speculative about some of these things. I get that, but I'm not going to dismiss the whole idea that, this is a subsidiary company in which this, like it says, the Sony Semiconductor Solutions and Denso participate as minority shareholders. There's a lot to be mentioned about this region, right? And you consistently see them going to other places to make deals and partnerships and so on. I think this is something that might very well materialize. Maybe some people feel as though it's like a nothing burger, and that's okay. I want to jump into this real quick also, just to kind of pound it home a little bit more. All right. TSMC's biggest customer, like it says, is Apple. Look at this for a second. JASM will be responsible for TSMC's new factory in Kumamoto, Japan. Sony supplies image sensors. Look at this for a second. We're talking about IoT. Supplies, image sensors for the cameras in Apple's iPhones. We expect wearable development to take place 27, 28 years. You got to keep in mind this was back, back then was it 2005, right? So fast forward to where we're at now, so something will happen around that time. He's looking forward to Apple and Sony. And then look what I also mentioned. Semiconductors are essential, of course, for Jasmy. So is Jasmy, with what they got going on, for instance, with WITS and some of these other ones, is that very well going to continue to be the plug, the connect, if you will? Could very well be, right? Some people say this is just speculation. I don't know. Again, if we're all pointing out all these concepts of Society 5.0, I mean, are we too far off base with some of this? I'm going to show you guys just a tad bit more. It says talk at the business briefing session of Sony Conductor Solutions. It says you can see the growth forecast in regards to the steps of the 27, 28 years. I mean, Heck, man, we're not even that far away from it right now. If you add up all those years, right? I mean, if you're talking about what they're looking to accomplish as Society 5.0 by the year 2030, this is a big deal. Hear me out. What is that background? It's Sony. We'll play that for a second. He says he can't talk about the details, but they've been discussing with customers all over the world how to increase the added value of smartphone image sensors. So here's the thing, all right? I'm not trying to bore you guys with all the, academic jargon. But again, we just showed you earlier this week about a key partnership that scans not just your retina, right? But scans, for instance, your veins in your fingers, because that is supposed to be the most highly accurate and most secure way of, I guess you could say, scanning an individual for accuracy, right? But it's the most expensive way of doing it. Well, incorporate blockchain technology. That in itself cuts a lot of cost. It says, for instance, this type of technology is going to what it says, it's about what kind of technology, to put in and how to give it. This means that for various technological developments, there's gonna be a lot of things required, right? But it's not about one company coming together and just like I said, putting everything in one basket and wishing for the best. No, you're taking a collaboration of different skills and talents and focusing on what they can all bring towards the greater scheme of things. The timing for these developments, I should say, roughly 2027 to 2028. I mean, come on, that's like, what, 4 years from now, right? On the early stage, 5 years from now on the later side of things. I mean, when I talk about Society 5.0 and so on, I'm literally thinking, like, typically speaking, with the general public, 2030. I'll show you guys this for a second. I can't understand this, but again, the point is Sony in the background. Just a tad bit more. Kind of gives you some of these stats. I know it's in Japanese, but again, it's just, here's the key thing. It's a reiteration of what the Sony group is trying to accomplish by 2028 on that forecast. Look at this, ADAS, Advanced Driving Assistance System. Remember those visuals that we saw about the whole concept of the autonomous cars and be connected to this whole concept of, these smart cities and so on? I mean, you don't have to understand Japanese to get an idea about some of this. Event-based vision sensors, near infrared. We talked about literally some of that, vision sensors and so on, whether scanning the retina or you name it. What is this? The phones. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that's obviously mentioned here. And if anything, you guys are more than welcome to nerd it out more. I mean, level 8, if you have the patience to transcribe some of what he has, he's got a lot of knowledge. You know what I mean? Like, to a sense, this guy's like literally like the Quant Papa of Japan. I guess that's a good way of looking at it. He's like literally like Japanese AI, if you will. Goes on to so much more details about this. In closing, I do want to show you this real quick. The new factory is being handled by Japan Advanced Semiconductor Manufacturing Co., JASM, a subsidiary of TSMC that holds a majority stake, in which Sony Semiconductor Solutions, which is Triple S, and Denso, because we talked about that earlier, participate as minority holders. Apple is TSMC's largest customer. Sony supplies image sensors for cameras installed in Apple iPhones. And the Kumamoto factory is a major production base. Sony plans to receive supply of logic semiconductors for calculations from TSMC's Kumamoto factory for image sensors. In addition, Tokyo Electron's factory, a major image-sensitive manufacturing equipment manufacturer, God, that's a lot of manufacturer words, is located near TSMC's new factory. In addition, there are many semiconductor-related companies. This last part, TSMC is a company, headquarters, I should say, in Taiwan, but its relationship with China has been strained. Well, no kidding. I mean, I imagine, can you imagine living over there? Yeah, you get where I'm going with that. Yeah, it's because of increased geopolitical risk. How are you going to be all, committed to being gung ho on producing some of this stuff with, the mainland China, if you will, because let's face it, Taiwan's the Republic of China, right? What are they, like 90? I don't know, 90 or 160 miles off the coast. I can't remember how close they are. Pretty close, right, for mainland China. How can you literally go all in with that threat? I'm just throwing that out there. Anyway, therefore, they plan to diversify geopolitical risk by building factories in the United States, Japan, and Europe. That's worth pointing out. And for people who are like, well, where in Japan? Well, Tokyo Electron's factories. I mean, doesn't it literally say it right there? I'm just saying, I mean, some people, they just, I don't know. When it comes to Jasmy, I don't think people, I'm not saying you guys, I think you guys do, because obviously you're tuned in. But when you want to understand the bigger picture of things, I think they're definitely part of the bigger picture. The lockup, I know this is, back to the topic of the lockup. Everybody is focusing on that because they should. That is really, really, in my opinion, going to significantly impact the price in a positive direction when it comes to Jasmy. But on the surface as well, I also like seeing some of these reports about what's going on in the background. And I love the guys like this, like Level 8, who takes the time to try to connect the dots and see where we're going with some of this stuff. Semiconductors are a big, big deal. They always will be. They're Taiwan basically is the biggest manufacturer of that. So people say that, they monopolize that industry. Well, if you can have a monopolized industry in a region such as Taiwan and provide, for instance, some of these solutions or image sensors and tie it into data tracking and with the whole mix of what Jasmy brings to the table with Internet of Things, well, you can draw your own conclusion. I think it's a big deal, but we'll see what happens with some of this. He did share this today, August. Is today 3rd or is 4th? It's the 4th. So yesterday. It might have been very well the day before that because of the time difference. So it doesn't matter. It's good information. All right, I'm going to stop the screen on this one. I'm going to jump to the next part of what we have. And basically speaking, it is this other one, because there's a lot of Jasmy information, and I want to share this with you guys. Let me just jump to it for a second. And I want to jump to this. All right. Again, this is just me kind of, getting myself out there and trying to find out more information. So, Jasmy Foundation, they've had obviously a few different co-investors. And I didn't want to take the time to view all of the team members' history and request access to that. But for today's show, I want to jump into one of these 7. I'm not going to talk about, MetaSense DAO or SPB or Tehil Venture. The one I want to put the focus on for just a brief moment is Consensus Lab, right? Because they're a blockchain investor. That piques my interest. I want to get into this for a brief moment. So in regards to them, all right, here's a little background, all right, and you'll get some information here shortly on why I feel as though that they're kind of a big deal. Some, guys on crypto Twitter talked about them, but didn't get a lot of that proper, focus, if you will. Here's a little background. They're an incubator, an investment firm focused on blockchain-based startups. Now, some people still consider Jasmy, even though they've been around for a long time, as a startup based on how quick they've been able to innovate. And of course, that's one of the criticisms about Jasmy is, they take their sweet time. Is that such a bad thing? Think about it for a second. Is it really such a bad thing? What are some other projects that take their sweet time, but they build quality? Stellar is a perfect example. Some people can even say Cardano is a perfect example. I'm heavily invested in Cardano. Really, Max? I didn't know that. Yeah, I am. But just because I don't talk about it a lot doesn't mean I don't recognize that, Cardano long term is not going to be too shabby. And that is one that I'm basically diamond handing the hell out of, and I overpaid for it. And eventually it'll be more than good. That's not the point. The point is that's another example of a quality project that just simply takes its time. Jasmy, you could also say, has in the past taken their time, but you see a lot of momentum of where they're going. Say what you want. Once you increase a lot tremendously in market cap, you simply have a lot more to work with. Hence why you see the report of what we had earlier, right? That market maker and what they're going to do and what they're going to provide. All right, let's jump back to this real quick. Consensus Lab, incubator investment firm focused on blockchain-based startups. Founded in year 2018, location is Beijing, China. For some people, they're going to be like, aha, this is where we're going to have, for instance, this connection of 15-minute cities. Hey, take it where, if you want to go down that route, you do your own thing. But look what it mentions. They have a portfolio count of 69. Sectors and investment, blockchain, tech, high tech, and 9 others. I'm not going to get necessarily into all those other ones. They have all sorts of stages of investment, seed, startups, Series A, and so on. But here's the key thing, right? Because we're pointing out some of the things about China. Locations of investment is not just, for instance, what they got going on in China, but it's the United States, China, and on this part, I will get into where it says and 11 more. Let me see. I don't know if it'll give me access to that part. Yeah, it's refreshing. I don't know if you guys like that stupid thing where it comes up with the CAPTCHA. Had problems with this before, but anyway, one of the 11 other ones, of course, mentions Japan. All right, if you're wondering about the plug on that, you can nerd it out if you want. If you're like, oh, I want to verify that, you can check it out for yourself. Consensus Lab portfolio. All right, so they, of course, have 69 companies part of this portfolio. It's pretty impressive. Their latest investment, of course, was Meta. It's a Series A round that happened back on July 30th, 2022. And, it just kind of gives you a little bit more of this background. There's 3 partners, Fred Wang, Kevin Ren. Again, it's just a lot of like what they raised for instance, Meta, Coin98, and so on, right? So what I want to jump also now to is the actual, a little bit more about what they are about and so on, about Consensus Lab. They were, of course, founded, like we mentioned, from Wang Feng. He was the founder of blockchain news portal Mars Finance. The company focuses on blockchain-related investments. Again, they're just headquartered in Beijing, China, but that doesn't mean that it's just the focus for that area and only that area. Just to give you a little background real quick, back on July 30th, 2022, like I mentioned, Meta, which is a Singapore-based NFT incubator, who has trading and SocialFi platform. Remember how we were talking about earlier about that other grants program that just got approved and what they bring to monetization when it comes to SocialFi, right? Again, guys, another area that Jasmy is breaking into. I knew eventually they were going to do that. I mean, why wouldn't they? If they're going to reference about how there's centralized authorities, your Facebook / Metas, your Amazons, your Googles, and so on, right? Why would we dismiss the whole idea that they are never going to get into like the DeFi side of things, like SocialFi platforms, right? That would make sense. Anyway, they raised $5 million funding. The round was led by Jasmy Foundation. If you're wondering, well, where does it mention Jasmy? Boom, there you go. With participation of SPB, Avatar DAO, CGV, FOF, and Consensus Labs. Of course, some of these other ones. Now, what I want to state real quick, basically, is this, all right? And, some of you guys may not understand the concepts of, like, consensus, and, you may have the attitude like, I don't really quite get the whole idea of, like, any type of consensus lab, and that's a great statement. But, understand this, that, Consensus Labs, basically, they stand out in the industry of tech, or basically in the blockchain space. Basically speaking, it's possible that the situation over time has, of course, changed in regards to anything, right? There's companies that will innovate and they'll make changes that may not even be reported. But in regards to Consensus Labs, for instance, they typically refer to research and development facilities, organizations, you name it, that focus on exploring the implementation of various consensus mechanisms. Think about this for a second. Doesn't that literally sound like some of the Internet of Things, if you will? And protocols. These labs, for instance, often aim to improve the efficiency and security. And how about this? Because you guys, there's always at least one person that still doesn't understand the scalability of what Jasmy is able to do when it comes to centrality that we confirmed, right? Watch the video from earlier this week, or maybe it was last week. But yeah, this is going to improve the efficiency, security, and scalability of just that, blockchain networks. As we know, Jasmy is networked with quite a few different other key partnerships. Through what? Innovative research and testing. Not just basically saying, hey, Internet of Things, we're going to throw you all into one basket. No. Hence there's WITS. Hence there's, Scheme. Hence there's, some of these other ones that we've done deep dives about and so on. Right? If you're not aware of it, like blockchain networks, of course, rely on customers, consensus mechanisms, if you will, not customers, to achieve agreement among multiple nodes, such as computers, just to put in layman's terms, in the network about the validity of transactions and the state of the ledger. Now, of course, we know about, for instance, proof of work or proof of stake or delegated proof of stake, which is DPoS. You guys have heard the concept of like a practical Byzantine fault tolerance. Remember when we used to cover Cypherium? That's something that stood out about them. But, I want you guys to understand this in regards to this connection, right? Each consensus mechanism, right? In this case, Consensus Labs, has its own, of course, strengths and weaknesses, making it essential for Consensus Labs to experiment with new protocols or modifications to existing ones. And I'm going to give you some examples here in a bit. So I can't, for instance, I can't pull this screen up for some reason. It gets stuck on this, but I want to just give you some examples before we kick it into the next part of our lineup. Consensus Labs provides protocol research, and this is crucial. Anything that has to do with the Internet of Things, this is a big deal. On top of that, I want to get into this other part of what we have. Security audits, right? What about that? Well, by conducting audits with vulnerable assessments of blockchain protocols and smart contracts, this is going to, of course, enhance security. Well, no kidding. How about the performance, right? One thing to test out these Internet of Things devices and so on, but what kind of key performance indicators do we have here, right? If we talk about scalability, these Internet of Things devices also have to have just that. They got to be able to perform, right? You can't have hiccups. You can't have one device that just simply doesn't get it done compared to the other devices. That doesn't make any sense, right? We don't want anything to be counterintuitive. So identifying bottlenecks in the network, Consensus Labs also provides that. That's crucial. This is a key partnership, if you will. This proposes solutions to increase scalability, like I mentioned, transaction throughput. There's tokenomics, economic analysis, evaluating the economic incentives and token distribution mechanisms within these blockchain networks. Don't you want to see that? We don't want to see a token's utility get diminished, do we not? All right, how about this? Interoperability, right? Oh, Max is going to do the Quant connection. No, I'm not. Just hear me out on this. Consensus Labs focuses also on the concept of cross-chain communication and interoperability between different blockchain platforms. So understand that we already have a scaling solution when it comes to centrality. And now at least we have something for the time being until we get to where we need to be in the future, potentially. Like, my hope and dream is eventually with Overledger. I'm not going to dismiss that. But at the same time, we do have to have something that's going to help with interoperability. Consensus Labs brings that. All right, we talked about DeFi for just a brief bit. Hear me out on this. Consensus Labs also helps by promoting decentralization and studying the impact of various consensus mechanisms on network decentralization. How cool is that? So there you go. That's the little gist of Consensus Labs. And with that also said, that concludes our coverage for Jasmy tonight, because I know that was quite a bit to get into. What we have now is we're going to get into some of the Q&T. I have some information I want to share with you guys from Tokenizer. Also on top of that, we have a nice little thing from constructiontrader.eth And we also have some information we're going to share from the one and only Mr. Quant Papa. So please smash that like. Thanks for being here. And we're going to get into the next bit of comments. All right. Speaking of which, the likes, we're at 58 likes. Please smash that like if you haven't done so. Doing pretty decent, on a Friday night. GG says the freaks come out at night. The freaks come out at night. GG is in the house. Welcome, GG. Boom. Magic Power. 7:34 p.m. That was a while ago. 25 minutes. Sorry about that. Jasmy developing really well, so much so that a lot of big news comes later. So the communication needs to be improved. They urgently need a marketing manager. Yeah, and I feel as though, like we mentioned earlier, that DWF, almost said it the wrong way again, is their plug to do so. All right. Also, to clear all the FUD and misunderstandings out of the way. There always will be a little bit of FUD because you guys, understand that there's those guys that always will show that, the same chart over and over. All right. Glad you guys welcome GG. Dave D, welcome back. He says, hi, everyone. Boom. Welcome back. GG says that he panic sold 303,000 VET today. Oh, boy. Just didn't panic sell, but did sell. Going to try and do a swing trade. Huh. All right. Badir says, ooh, snap. I just remember Japan is about to cause mad volatility to the world's markets. They're going to mess with their inflationary economic system. Okay. Japan, the third largest economy in the world, based on GDP. I know where you're going with that, right? GDP power rankings. You're technically right about that. Annualized 0.6%, and they want to close this year at 0.5. He also states Jasmy could face lots of volatility, which is good. Buy high, sell low. No, don't do that. That's how. See, the fudders, they got wrecked, right? Secretly behind the scenes, they'll never admit it. They're the ones that got destroyed, and they can't get over it, and so they're going to flood the hell out of it. That could be applied to anything. BTC, you name it. Quant Papa is in the house. Let's pull up his comment on the other screen. Interpret it into Japanese. What does it say? Let me pull that up on Google Translate. All right. Thanks for being here, Quant Papa. Hopefully you're doing well, man. Always appreciate you, brother. Let me see. Google Translate. And it states, Max becomes a millionaire. Who wants to be a millionaire? I guess me. All of us wants to be. See? You guys don't believe me? Look what it says. Max becomes a millionaire. Well, someday. Maybe, possibly 2024, but I'm leaning more towards 2025. Maybe I become a quarter of a millionaire in 2024, or maybe a half a millionaire. I don't know. We'll see. Or as Brian Dow would say, shout out to Brian Dow, maybe actually, guys, I'll just be the poorest guy in the world because I don't want crazy people off the internet coming over to my house and trying to kill me or rob me. My God, I saw you share that, and I was like, unbelievable, man. I mean, I believe you, Brian Dow, but that's crazy. That report, people in Detroit went after some YouTubers. All I got to say is somebody actually tried to come after me. I'll see that coming a mile away. You know what I mean? I was going to throw that out there. I am very well protected as far as my right to bear arms, if you will. If anybody wants to be that stupid to do something like that and rob me at gunpoint, not happening. All right. Hope you all do fine. Flexing. Yes. Boom. Thank you very much. Hopefully you're still here. All right. The Humpty Dance is your chance. All right. Let's read this. Well, my mom always said buy on red. What the heck is this? Cherries? And Jasmy is down 10% for the week, but it is up 0.24% in the last 28. Yeah, it runs a correlation with BTC and ETH. Those are down. It's not going to do well, But in the future, with the utility run and so on, I think it'll be part of the mix of other ones that are part of that utility. But yeah, I mean, if BTC and Ethereum represent 81% of the overall crypto market, and those are both down, I still don't understand what people don't understand. I'm not saying you don't understand it, but I've seen people in the comments of the recorded videos or even on Twitter, they still don't get it. Oh, I don't understand. It's like, just go look at the chart on the, 90-day 60, 30, 24 hour, weekly, whatever, all of it. Even Mike Cornwell's showing you guys proof of that. Cardano long term may not be around, at least as Charles Hoskinson is head of it. Oh, you're not a fan of Hoskinson? Yeah. Hope Charles finds that meteor or UFO he is looking for. He's a smart guy, but man, I mean, I don't know. He should have like had the backs of the XRP army in the past, but whatever. All right. You guys are saying hello to Quant Papa. Here's the second. Well, or let's read this from Hump. Max, do you think they're using consensus mechanism like Ethereum to be able to get approved by the FCC? What are you talking about, my friend? So is Jasmy a proof of stake or consent? All right. So here's the thing. Over in Japan, they have what was formerly known as the FSA. All right. And it's called the JVCEA. And I'm not trying to downplay anything you're saying. And if I said, what are you talking about, man? I don't mean that disrespectfully. Maybe people get tired of me mentioning Genki Oda. Dang it, Max. And you're going to mention Genki Oda again. Genki Oda is a very well-connected guy. SBI Japan, JVCEA, which is basically Japan's version of the SEC. But again, night and day difference compared to, Gary Gensler and the SEC. And then this guy also, through BitPoint, okay, again, very well partnered up with Jasmy and so on. So this guy is a decision maker, and I don't know if this is a typo and you're trying to say FSA, or I don't know what you're trying to say, or you're trying to say SEC, where the case be. The way I look at it is their consensus mechanism for the current time being, is more than fine. If you're talking about compliancy, this is also where Jasmy gets that label of Bitcoin in Japan. All it means is they were the first. That's all it means. It has nothing to do with, because obviously Jasmy is a smart contract, and we understand the whole concept of BTC. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole again, right? But my thing is, you got to understand, it's like they were the first to be compliant with the, what was formerly known as the FSA, the JVCEA. So they're more than good. Is Jasmy proof of stake or a consensus mechanism? Part of a consensus mechanism, because it's also part of that whole concept of the Internet of Things and so on. That doesn't just apply to one specific area. Hence why we did share with you, like how they do protocol research, security audits, tokenomics and economic analysis, the whole thing, interoperability, protocol research, all those things is, you can't throw the whole Internet of Things into one basket, is the point I was trying to make earlier. All right, Quant Papa says maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I think you're having a conversation with somebody. Pew Pew. Edward Vincent, you should buy on red or green days if the price is under your DCA. Don't be picky, not financial about it. Yeah, I guess it depends. Teach, brother, teach. Yeah, no problem. I'm not trying to, me, man. I would never disrespect it. I mean, there's things I don't know about, right? There's probably some things about Adam that you know more about than I do. I would hope so. Adam's, trust me, I'm totally convinced on Adam. My thing is, I really would like to buy everything, just like everybody would like to buy everything. If I go out, like I said before, and buy everything I wanted to buy, I'm looking at, it used to be 28K. It's actually increased, right? So it's anywhere from between like 30 to 35K extra. I don't know if I'm not really too comfortable with that. I'm very heavily invested in crypto as is, but I will always, and I've been consistent about this, buy what I think is on an extreme sale. Did that with, IOTA. If I made a position IOTA, I'm in the profits on IOTA. Shout out to Cool Cat Crypto, BSV. I know some of you guys still don't believe in BSV. I think it's solid, but it's okay. We agree. You can agree to disagree. Bought the bottom. I'm still in the green on that. The graph, I believe, is basically the Google of blockchain. Some people don't want to agree with me on that. We'll research it more. It literally is. I think the graph is solid. And that is one where I don't stay married to. This is part of, taking the profits along, especially when it goes to new all-time highs. Audio in the green. So it's just, again, recognizing what was on sale. Algo, triple my position because I bought it at roughly 10 cents. So I'm good. Was it 10 cents? I can't remember. It was either 10 cents. Yeah, it was 10 cents. It's Algo at 10 cents, and it was IOTA at 15, under 15. Sometimes I get the prices mixed up. I'm in for the tech. Yeah, we're, tech maxis, if you will. What is BSV utility? Well, it's a fork, as we know, of traditional BTC, if you will. But there's a lot of utility to it. So for one, it's like, oh man, we talk about being able to scale. BTC, you're not going to be able to. Some people say there's some scalability in regards to that, but I mean, are you honestly going to use BTC for cross-border payments and so on? That's just too slow. It's not going to get the job done. But I'm looking at it from the perspective of, like Visa, 25,000 or 28,000 TPS. Currently speaking, BSV can do 100,000, and they've also boasted that possibly a future 1 million. That's to me, I don't want to dismiss any of that. As you guys know, IBM, they got that partnership going on with them. IBM is also, they're all over the place. IBM with Casper, Hedera, I guess even Quant, right? So I'm not dismissing that. I mean, you guys can obviously look more into BSV, but my point is this. I think they take the cake as far as Bitcoin forks, if you will, compared to the others. I know some people will still call it fake Toshi and so on, but I feel as though it's more than good. Anyway, BSV is not a fork. BTC and BCH are the forks. Okay, fair enough. GG Algo is in sell now. It's like he says sell mo. I'm looking for DCA under 10 cents. Algo has a massive potential for profits. I remember, was it Tokenizer saying that he thought it was a fork. Anyway, that's what I'm quoting. All right, let's see here. I didn't mean to skip this. Hold on a second. Yeah, Jasmy, with consensus mechanism sounds like a winner. Is that the USA is so stupid when it comes to crypto? With Jasmy consensus, they should not have a problem with the US regulators. Well, in the future, they shouldn't have a problem, and if you also look on the recent bill that was introduced in regards to this crypto regulation bill, on paper, it doesn't mention DFFT. But if you look at the actual bill and what was introduced, you could totally tell they taken concepts from DFFT, Data Free Flow of Trust, which is the regulatory framework not only for Japan, but for the European Union and so on, and trying to apply it to what we have here in the United States. So it's kind of like you're copying a template, and I'm okay with that because the way I look at it, it's not about, I know it sounds like a crazy thing to mention, like crypto plagiarism, right? If it works, it works. But literally, it's very, very similar on what they're trying to introduce. Okay. All right, so I did read this. BSV is not a fork. BTC and BCH are the forks. Okay. Well, okay. BTC and BSH are the forks. Well, BTC is the original. Now this is where I can understand what you're saying with BCH. I don't want to get it. I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna derail this whole lineup if I keep going with this. But you're the one that said it, Max. True. All right, Algo sell now. Did I really read this? I'm looking at there's DC under 10. Algo, it has a massive potential for profits if you can get back to your all-time highs. I didn't know it was $3. I thought it was $2.57 or 67 cents. Huh, interesting. GG by the dip. Quant pop. Even traffic lights will use DLT to share immutable data to anonymous vehicles. So AI quantum tech can't tamper with critical code and data. That's a good point. Well, let me drink this real quick before it gets too warm. All right, let's read this. I got Algo, but I can't recover. No, you're good. No problem. Cool cat. It's all good. I think Algo recover. I think of more than do fine. I'm just looking for long term anyway. All right. And let me see here. Let me pull up something real quick. All right. Because you guys got me kind of curious here. Let's see what this says. It states, is BSV a fork of Bitcoin? Therefore, BSV is a fork of Bitcoin Cash, okay, which in turn was a fork of BTC. See how this can be confusing? I'll try to get it right. I'm not perfect. BSV was created in November 2018 by a group of individuals led by, of course, Craig Wright. We know that, who claims to be Satoshi. People say it's fake Toshi. I mean, I understand this is cited from CNBC, but this was at least not that long ago, 7 or 8 months ago. All right, so yeah, BSV is a fork of Bitcoin Cash, okay, which in turn was a fork of BTC. Huh. We obviously know BSV is not, well, some people say it's the original, but all right, BSV, key takeaways. BTC was the original crypto asset initiated by its pseudonymous creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, 2009. However, BTC is not the same as Bitcoin Cash, well, no duh, or BSV, despite the shared part of their names. BCH, Bitcoin Cash, actually launched as a so-called hard fork from Bitcoin, okay? Is BSV a hard fork? Most recently, BCH itself had a hard fork splitting into Bitcoin Cash and BSV. This was the second type of hard fork, and both projects were for a time fighting and claiming to be the legitimate chain. My God, look at this rabbit hole. I said I wouldn't go down it, but now I kind of want to go down it. What is the fork of the Bitcoin network? Bitcoin fork is a split in the Bitcoin network whereby two separate branches are created, each in its own protocol. One branch will continue to be a pre-fork protocol, while the other will follow a new protocol with different rules. Bitcoin forks can be soft or hard forks. All right, let's do this last one. This is good stuff. I mean, look at how long this goes. Why BSV is better than BTC? The throughput or power of the BSV network is significantly higher and therefore more efficient than BTC. We know that. BSV promotes lightning fast, instantaneous blockchain transactions. You're right. 100,000 TPS. That's like unbelievable. It's largely supported by larger block size enabled by BSV. You can go more into this. I mean, look at this, guys. It go forever, just about. I mean, what kind of question is this? Will BSV ever go up? What do you think? Is BSV mine? BSV mining pools support cooperative mining efforts for individuals who wish to mine BSV in the network. I don't know. Part of doing your own research, right? But I guess I didn't quote it right. So glad we have people here to correct me, right? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's not necessarily about being right all the time. It's basically being willing to still learn, right? I'm still learning too. All right, let me get more into some more comments. You're in for the tech. I already read that one. That's the fake news version. Well, hold on a second. You got to keep in mind, I did go through on that list different links. I'm not expecting all those to be fake. I mean, I guess we just agree to disagree on that one. All right, let's go here. BSV goes back to the Genesis block of Bitcoin, BTC, and BCH do not. All right, I expect you to know your stuff on that one. So, right on. Quant Papa, I'm going to make some food. Ultra hungry. Yeah, you got a time difference there. What time is it in the Netherlands? Let's pull it up. What time is it in the Netherlands right now? It is 11:16 a.m. My God. No, that can't be right. That can't be right. What time is it in the Netherlands? 5:19 a.m. Yeah, I knew that wasn't right. Huh. So he's gonna eat some breakfast, basically. All right, Gigi, those are all proof of work, not for my portfolio. When you send BSV wallet To wallet is instant, less than a second. Okay, that's all right. You're good. No worries, man. All right, crypto winner. Algorand Foundation among creditors opposing reconstructing of troubled crypto exchange. HODLNUT. The Algorand Foundation declared 35 million in exposure. All right, Mobius v Fork. All right. Look what's happening to Litecoin. Block rewards got cut in half. Not Litecoin miners are in the red. All right. We're gonna jump into the next part. What we have. If we don't do it, this will be too long of a show. If you guys want it to be a long show, I don't want it to be a long show, but anyway, gotta respect Dingy's data, you know. Yes, you gotta respect his data. All right, man, my darn ankle is killing me right now. Took some aspirin, but I don't know. I know we should take some Tylenol or some Advil. I didn't have any of that. I had to go with whatever I had. I might have to get some of that later. All right. Yeah, let's pull this up. This is straight from Tokenizer. This is not necessarily just QNT. This is some other things. It's a little bit of like a basket of everything, but I went ahead and retweeted this earlier. I thought it was worthy of a mention. Give him a follow, right? I'm telling you flat out, I think, you know, Tokenizer is definitely like the GOAT of research. Obviously, Quant Papa is like the GOAT of quant research, right? But yeah, Tokenizer, I mean, he does a lot more than just one, right? You know, like he knows his stuff. I don't mean that to sound like I'm downplaying Mr. Quant Papa, my friend. I totally respect you, right? But one thing I do love about Tokenizer is like he covers a lot, you know, a lot of different projects, right? Utility-based projects. Give him a follow. You can follow him on, at Tokenizer. All right, so we're going to jump into this. This is some good stuff. I retweeted this earlier, and I want to share some of this with you guys. He says, far before blockchain was known, IBM had been a global leader in tech for years. I remember being a little kid back in the 80s and, you know, constantly hearing like my uncle brag about IBM. Everybody was like, you got to have an IBM computer. Man, the days of that going to where we're at now, you know, that's the bottom line. Of course, you know, they began as a manufacturer holding firm called CTR. Today, they're a global tech giant with 60 billion in revenue and core to enterprise distributed ledger technologies. They collaborated, and look at this, with Quant, Stellar, Casper, with the hard R, right? Not the New England clam chowder one, and even Hedera, all right? It says one of the pivotal collaborations, of course, is with Quant, and we do want to point this out. It says a long-lasting collaboration through mutual connections building towards seamless interoperability in the blockchain space. IBM is one of many contributors to secure asset transfer protocol. And again, we've done some deep dives in regards to SATP. And even on the show, when we had Tokenizer as a special guest, it was called the Research Portal featuring Tokenizer. We were talking about why SATP is such a big deal. I'm not going to get into why it's a big deal again. That's why we have the recorded section. It's a library of research for you guys to check out if you choose to do so. Maybe you're just a guy like, I don't care. I only want to pay attention to Quant when it's under $100. There's people like that. I get it. But it says, you know, that's an interoperability standard that Quant and Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, are building with the what? IETF, and just in case you forgot what that stands for, the Internet Engineering Task Force. Literally the pioneers of the precursor to the internet. Don't you like them being connected to some of these key players, the pioneers, if you will? I like that. Beyond this, various IBM blockchain-based products are, for instance, Weaver. No, not Weezer. And they have built to comply with ISO TC 307, which we know is Gilbert Verdian's written standard for the overledger, right? Which I think the inception was 2015. He got it done in 2016, right? I'm sure Quant Papa knows the exact dates on that one, but that's beyond the point. A blockchain standard that has, of course, like I mentioned, been, I just said it, right? Gilbert Verdian. In fact, when we look with the SATP drafts, we can see an email sent by key IBM members asking Gilbert on the specifics on complying to TC 307. Here that basically is. We'll pull that up for a second. I'm not going to get into all of it. But again, if you can see it, you know there's that X on the top left. This comes from the Internet Engineering Task Force, the IETF. This is an email from June of 2022, and basically says, Gilbert, thanks for the update on ISO TC307 standard activity. We at IBM first encountered it in the early days of researching blockchain interoperability back in 2018, 2019. We were wondering how it progressed since then. 2 high-level comments, questions. Please let me know if I'm not being clear. And, it has this whole, there's a bunch of questions. I'm not going to read all of it. But where I want to go to is this part right here. To allow for to interconnect, we want to explore if cross-network operations could be carried out using standard protocols, but without requiring standardization of the blockchain or distributed ledger systems themselves. Our conclusion after experimenting with the networks built on Hyperledger Fabric and even Corda and Hyperledger best suit to some extent was a qualified yes. Yes, in the sense that the networks and the platforms themselves needed no modifications and did not need to conform to some specific template on what a blockchain or DLT system ought to look like. Quote, qualified in the sense that if such networks wish to interconnect with other systems, they needed to use standard protocols and standard components. You I can't even pronounce it right. Identified the need for gateways, and we have use such components in our own project. Hyperledger Labs Weaver thought we called them relays. So in your thinking on this issue, the same as ours, that blockchain DLT platforms themselves need not to be standardized, but the ways in which they interoperate must be. Yes, the ways they interoperate must be. Keep in mind how many times you've heard Gilbert Vernier mention that with the old approach, or even with the current approach, if you don't count Overledger, right, being blockchain agnostic, you would need another layer of blockchain to be above it. And if anything, that would be some of the problems is in regards to like what they're talking about before, especially in the Overledger trailer, about taking a little bit too long, right? Time consuming, it's expensive, right? Yeah, so some of these questions are valid. It says, does the TC307, again, ISO TC307 community share this view in regards to standardizing interoperability? Because when you say, referring to, for instance, Gilbert Verdian, standardizing blockchain, it's not apparent what the ultimate ambition or scope is. I mean, these are good questions back in the past. But it says, referring to some of the subsections under facets of interoperability like transport, syntactic and semantic, do you in the TC307 community envision an OSI-like protocol stack for blockchain DLT interoperability? So, I mean, you know where that went from there, right? But anyway, it was interesting, to say the least. And like it says right here, while this isn't an official partnership, it's clear that Quant and IBM are on the same side when it comes to building for universal, just that, interoperability. While we're on the topic of interoperability, Quant isn't the only one IBM has building with. Hence why, let's face it, we did point out some of those things. BSV, Hedera, Casper. Speaking of Casper, they're also working with Casper on this, though with, different purposes in mind. Though this simply started off with Casper joining IBM's global partner program, it has evolved to much more. By leveraging the hybrid custom permission setting of Casper, they built a system to connect and swap assets between public and private blockchains with IBM. Even if you fire up the Overledger on some of those demos that we saw from those freeze frames from Tokenizer, it shows, for instance, and even Quant Pop has pointed this out, right? You could switch to, for instance, like, Ripple's XRP for real-time growth settlements and so on. So are they too far off, or is Tokenizer too far off with some of these statements? No, of course he is. It says, leveraging, the hybrid custom permission setting of Casper, they built this system to connect and swap, I already mentioned that, with public and private blockchains with IBM. The solution uses Hyperledger Weaver as an interoperability tool. So if you wonder how that's done through interoperability, there you go. While the private chain of Hyperledger Fabric and public permission fork of Casper were connected, IBM Weaver works with SATP, which is Secured Asset Transfer Protocol frameworks. This solution for cross-permission chain atomic swaps does in fact comply to SATP. So all of it is in compliance, right? You have standards for a reason, and then you also have something to back that up with actual real compliancy and so on. This has, of course, been enabled to build the foundation for X permissions applications like IPv. On the face, IPv really stands out for Casper in regards for tokenization of IP. They even presented the solution live at Davos. Here's a screenshot of this, apparently. This demo was displayed, is bonded with IBM Hyperledger platform. It was moved, of course, to Casper's blockchain or public chain. Now let's scale from cross-chain back to some more simplistic problems, cross-border payments. IBM, of course, joined forces with XLM. Remember we talked about some of this earlier? So IBM, I mean, they're not just choosing like anybody and everybody, but they're choosing quality blockchain or distributed ledger technology platforms. Yeah, like it says, join forces with XLM Stellar to create RollWire. I've done a deep dive about that. Man, I think like 6 or 7 months ago. DLT payment solution utilizing Stellar's blockchain. RollWire revolutionizes the traditional financial landscape by enabling, listen to this, real-time settlement of transactions, enabling 24/7 worldwide banking, shared ledger across all currencies. I mean, there's a lot to this. I'll just show you guys this real quick because we're on the subject of Stellar. I mean, it's a little bit of QNT and everything, right? Obviously, Casper, it's utility all the way. So just real quick, let's listen to this for a second. This is a good visual. How IBM blockchain RollWire transfer cross-border payments using using blockchain technology and the Stellar protocol. IBM blockchain RollWire provides shared distributed ledgers for atomic payment clearing and settlement in real time. You see how it starts off with that originator. On this one, I will blow it up because this is a good visual. And I want to share this with you guys. Maybe you guys just want to see what's going on with price action. You don't want to learn about some of this stuff. I don't know. I think it's worth pointing out. I want to share this with you guys, and I'll blow it up just a little bit more. I'm going to take off this real quick because this is some good stuff right here. So look at this. And as you can see, it starts off with that originator. It goes on to also mention that it goes over to the originating financial institution, which is the OFI. We were talking about market makers earlier, were we not? Right? What happens with the market maker and the actual digital asset at that particular part of the show, the segment? We were talking about, Jasmy's market maker. But here's a visualization. Then it goes from there to the IBM blockchain RollWire. You kick it over to those digital assets to the other direction. Market maker receiving financial institution. Remember how we talk about the, some of those on ramps, if you will, and then of course to the recipient. It's a beautiful thing. Key benefits of blockchain RollWire: trust, simplicity, efficiency. We were talking about consensus earlier. We'll put a focus on that. Near real-time remittance, easy consensus between stakeholders. That's pretty cool. I guess you don't see that part, do you? Oh, yeah, you do. You do. You do see that. So that's cool stuff. All right. I'm going to jump back to what we have here. Let's pull it back here. There we go. And a little bit more about this. Were you also aware that this cuts out the inefficiencies in our legacy payment systems? Sometimes people don't like the idea of anything in regards to legacy because it's the old system. But there's a reason why we still have to recognize them. You can't just, we talk about the flip of the switch. Like, this is where you've heard Elon Musk stating that cash will still be around. It's not like we're just going to click our fingers real quick and boom, it's gone. It doesn't work that way. It says IBM is also a leader in fintech. Here are some of the stats about IBM's involvement in the sector. And here it is. 97% of banks in the world are IBM clients. I didn't realize that. That's a really, really high number. Sorry if I'm kind of grimacing right here. It's my darn sprained ankle. 90% of all credit cards processed with IBM tech. The world of payments leads to just about to every other road in the economy. It does. That's why we put so much emphasis and focus on some of these things that are tied into ISO 222. But understanding that just because we don't have full-scale implementation of ISO 222 doesn't mean we're all of a sudden going to dismiss it. It goes on to also mention all the money that is, the businesses are making, in regards to the moves to move that money. IBM, of course, is a business, an established one. But in the world of decentralization, the distribution is, not simple enough. And I do like this other reference because, we cover all these ones that we've, basically shared here tonight. Talked about Casper, talked about Quant, talked about Stellar. How about HBAR? And we do have an HBAR segment for you guys tonight. It says this is why IBM also joined the Hedera Governing Council as one of 39 members. By having IBM join Hedera Council of other corporate leaders worldwide, it brings all that much more into their enterprise governed network. And I'm going to blow this part up. This guy says gossip about gossip, because let's face it, Hedera is all about that gossip protocol. Their hash graph consensus. Shyam Nagarajan. He is the executive partner of Blockchain Web3, Metaverse, and Sustainability over at IBM. Oh, cool. Well, here's some of the key points. Shyam aims to accelerate enterprise adoption of the Hedera network through collaboration as a newly elected governing council board member. Sometimes we just show you like who's part of that governing council, but we don't actually show you the faces. Here's an actual face. Of the particular interest to the enterprise market is the tokenization and commercialization of traditionally illiquid assets. Hedera is uniquely positioned as a key provider of DLT services through its governance model of large established enterprises. Hence why their governing council is the most impressive one of probably any of them out there, if you want to really look at it from that point of view. All right, we're going to now mention this list. This is an impressive list, and then we'll kick it into something else. What we have planned, obviously. These are some of the most exciting collaborations in all of DLT. Look at this, guys. From standards with Quant, X permission swaps with Casper, global payments with Stellar, global governments with HBAR, Hedera. The list continues with many other distributed ledger technology networks that are in some way connected to the long history of IBM. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to cough into the mic. Morpheus Network. I'm not personally invested into it, but someday I probably will be. It's that startup with IBM program. I don't know squat about A0. I'll be honest. I need to research it more, but I don't know anything about it. But it states that, you see here, Matthew with Summit Supercomputer. I'm obviously invested. At one of my last things I got into was IOTA. They are mentioned in IBM patent for Internet of Things. We were talking about, for instance, data. Some people were criticizing me like, Max, why don't you talk more about IOTA? You're all about Jasmy. Why don't you know about IOTA? I'm into IOTA. One of the things, though, is you don't get a lot of news about IOTA, and I want to give you guys some real good, like, proper news, some of that juicy stuff, right? Render, guys, I've been putting it off, and there's only so much time in a day, but I do plan on doing a proper deep dive about Render because some of you guys are in that. 41 years at IBM advisor at OTOY. All right, it says if you're serious about capturing the innovations of the enterprise DLT space, you should start keeping an eye with IBM and everything else they're connected to. And I will leave that there, okay? And basically speaking is this. I do pay attention to what IBM is involved in and so on. And, this is where I will mention BSV, for instance. It's like, I think there's still some people who say, that they'll call like fake Toshi and so on. I'm not going to dismiss IBM recognizing BSV and being involved with them as a partner and so on. It's just like, I'm not going to dismiss any of these things, like it says, that they're connected to. That is key. So glad to share this with you guys. Glad that Tokenizer really went in depth with that. On the next part of what we have a little bit more in regards to QNT. It's going to come from constructiontrader.eth. And then after that, we're going to get into what Quant Papa shared. Thank you again for being here. Let's go ahead and kick it back to the comments for a brief bit. All right. So up next, we are going to see if you guys got any questions or specific comments. Let me just drink some of this mango juice for a second. All right. Okay, let's see what we got. Please smash that like. All right, let's see. Blackwood, going to be making love to his BSV bag soon enough. Wow. You even have a picture of a peach, and wow, what a visual. My God. All right. I talked about, what was it, a few nights ago? Either you or River, smacking. Never mind. I could get back into that. Crazy stuff. What BTC has over miners will be in the red big time. Okay. Hump not dump. Cool cat. Litecoin didn't even move at the halving. Then you will see the rise of BSV. I'll read this real quick. Blackwood. BSV Academy is not bad. My brain learned a new thing. Be smart. Yeah, I'll have to maybe go down that rabbit hole a little bit more myself. Cool cat crypto. Hump. That's because the miners are underwater now. They can't supplement with transaction fees because there are so few on a Litecoin. Huh. You guys having a good back and forth conversation. All right. Let's see here. What else we got? Boomer F and Sooner. The one on. All right. 7 hours in the pool, man. Pool, nonstop drink. Oh, jeez. God. If you were in the pool for 7 hours, here's what I do know, my friend. You basically pissed in your pool. That's basically what happened. And you're probably like, you know what? That's what happens, Max. It's my freaking pool, and I can freaking pee in it all I want. Well, do you have one of those pools in which, the chemicals are in there? If you pee in it, it actually shows who pees in the freaking pool. But me personally, I was always the type of guy, I would not do that. But teach his own. It's your pool. But if you're in this pool for 7 hours, nonstop drinking, yep, that's pretty much what happened. Okay. Hump not dump. Maybe Bitcoin is going to 93K. How about this real quick? Maybe you don't want this. If we're always talking about mud butt, right? Boomer F it sooner. He peed in the pool. All right. I mean that with all due respect, my friend. All right. How respect my foot? I'm unsubscribing to this channel, Max. I do not pee in my pool. All right, Blackwood, dear God, why? Why couldn't I have learned about urine sooner? Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh, God, man, this thing ankle's killing me. All right, damn, my late. All right, what else we got here? All I can say, you better have your BSV bag before the halving. Okay, well, that's cool. I mean, I do have a bag, but, we could all have bigger bags of everything, right? Juan Figueroa, welcome back. Consider changing your avatar so it speaks more about who you are and what you're about. Excuse me. Ripple plus Hyperledger equals 1 trillion transactions per second. That'd be insane. All right, let's go further down. I think you guys are having good conversations. That's fun. Let's see how far behind I am. GG says Shiba been popping off. Time to knock out his zero soon. I'd be cool with that. Great content. Hats off to you. Well, thanks, Juan. Appreciate that. And I hope to see more of you. Guys, let's give Juan a warm welcome to CTN. Shiba to all-time highs after Shibarium, but Bone is where it's going to be. Sup. Glad to have you. Thank you. All right. No top 5, no particular order. XRP, XLM, Quant, HBAR, Algo. What's yours? Me, it's it's like a tie almost with QNT and XRP. So it's QNT, XRP, XLM, XDC, Jasmy, and HBAR. Those are my top 5. All right. QNT, HBAR, XLM, Bone, and Jasmy. Nice. BSV, because it's by far the best blockchain. Cosmos, XRP, XLM. Only 4 you need. Huh. You didn't mention a 5th. Does that mean you went all in on only of those 4? Kind of makes me wonder. That's all right. All right, let's go further down. Man, my damn ankle's killing me so bad. I gotta stop saying that. I just gotta quit mentioning it because that gets kind of old. People don't want to hear that. All right, Juan Figueroa Jr. IoT, Nexera, LCX, DIA, and Jasmy. I don't know about DIA. Huh. All right. Yes. Wow. Hold on a second. Nope. Maybe a deep. Haha. Boom. Fill that thing up with pee. But pee in the pool. Dive, but peeing happens behind the building. Oh, okay. Well, at least you respect your pool. Or maybe you do have that special chemical in the pool, and whoever swim with you can see if you peed in your pool. All right, Max, you can get out of the pool to shake. Oh, jeez. We pee behind the building 2 acres back there. You got to go 2 acres behind, or just to go pee? I see what you're saying. My bad. I read that wrong. That's interesting. Yeah, when you say 4 specifically, that kind of tips it off, but that's okay. All right. Caroline can fix that ankle, Max. She probably could, Anyway. DIA, definitely a gem. Look into it. Oh, that's what you mean? Okay. DIA, definitely. That's like what you're saying. Sorry. All right. Thinking about my bone profits, gonna roll it into more Jasmy. I don't need to roll anything. My freaking rolled my ankle. Let's sprain my ankle. All right. We're going to jump now into the QNT coverage. You may feel that the previous one was QNT. It was a little bit of everything, actually. But I want to share this. This comes from actually originally Quant or Construction Trader East. It says "oh-ish," or some of you guys would say "oh poo." I know. Just say it, Max, for crying out loud. Well, oh poo, great fine QNT. All right, I want to pull this up. I want to share this with you because, like it says, it goes on to mention the use case for QNT is limitless, and people don't realize how important Overledger's role will be in blockchain adoption. Like, what's his name? All right, I don't have nothing personally against Jerry Banfield, but he just looks like Quant is just an ERC20 token. He looks like Jasmy is just an ERC20 token. He doesn't even like Filecoin. I don't know. I guess 4 months ago, I saw that he was a fan of Jasmy, and then he changed his mind. All right, teach us that. I have no ill will against the guy. Here's an example of how Overledger is installed into an airline loyalty program. This is cool because you know what? Sometimes you guys don't like me talking about the same thing all the time. Oh, Max is just going to talk about interoperability. You're going to talk about ISO TC307. He's going to talk about SATP. He's going to talk about the Internet Engineering Task Force. He's just going to talk about the same things, or he's going to show me a beautiful trailer of Quant Overledger with this James Bond, sounding lady, and that's all he's got. That's all he's got. I'm out of here. I'm not unsubscribe from his show. He does all these stupid impersonations. He tells me I'm a bum and I need to go back to Jersey. Yeah, that's right. Go back to Jersey, you bum. Yeah, so let's get into this. Let's play this. This is cool. Let's have some fun with this example real quick. Smash that like for some QNT. Here we go.
You could do it with other coins as well. And this is the exchange that's being facilitated by the Quant networks. And we're going to see that part of the demo as well. The way that exchange works, it's using something called hash time locked atomic swaps, which if you're not familiar with, I'll briefly explain. So we have essentially 2 entities here. We have the traveler and we have the airline. The traveler will generate a secret. You can think about it as a one-time password maybe. They're going to actually do an escrow transfer to log the the fiat or the current Oracle blockchain tokens and on an escrow account, and then they will send the hash of that to an Ethereum smart contract that's provided here as an escrow. The airline will lock the ERC20 on Ethereum, and then when the flight traveler claims it in step 5, they're going to actually provide that secret, right, in order to unlock the escrow. At that point, they have in their account on Ethereum some amount of coins. The airline manager can retrieve that secret, and then using that, they can claim the tokens on OBP network. And so you're going to see this exchange. This is a very classic hash time lock mechanism that's used for a lot of atomic swaps and can be used with other kind of networks. And what you're going to see is a Quant network over ledger gateway being used. It provides a front end to be able to interact with multiple types of blockchain, different ledgers, right? So they support a great number of them, not just Ethereum, but Corda and Quorum and Ripple and Stellar and so on. And they can support a number of different orchestration scenarios. We're going to do this cross-DLT asset ownership swap that we'll go to see in a demo. But you can also do things like dual logging, where you're confirming, for example, a transaction Oracle blockchain on a public network by putting a hash. Maybe more complex orchestrations where you have some kind of a business process with purchase order invoice matching that's being done on Oracle blockchain, and then there is maybe a payment or settlement on another network, right? So there's all of the different orchestrations that are possible through the REST APIs that they provide. All right.
That was a great example. We talked about some of these things. Quant Papa pointed out some of these things, like, some of the DMs that you sent me and so on, and even what we share with you guys and so on. We gave that example of Ripple's XRP in the past, but you saw some of these other visuals here on this explanation. It's nice to actually see like an actual diagram of how it all works out, right? So he mentioned R3, this guy. Let's jump into this for a bit, because you know what? I want to share this with you. And this is the part that Quant Papa has for us. He retweeted us, and then, of course, he has his own little thing as well. Let's jump into that. This is cool because, this is a nice little segue to the R3 part of things. I'll come back in the frame on this one just for a brief bit. So on this one, it says, how important, and you got to keep in mind, this is straight from R3, right? This is not just like, me going to type a, $QNT, hashtag QNT, right? This literally comes straight from R3. So it says, how important is building a, quote, network of networks, and how can we get there while functioning in highly regulated markets? This guy, who is, I believe, Gendel, says Richard Gendel Brown. He's the CTO over at R3. He defines and explores the importance of interoperability in this mission. And this is only 21 seconds. Then we'll show you guys the Quant Papa segment of it. But yeah, listen to this. All right. This is pretty cool. Smash that like. Here we go.
What we begin to see is the emergence of these networks of networks, these openly connected networks working together to solve an end-to-end business problem without, and this is the important point, without them all having to be deployed on the same network with the same rules on the same technology, because in the regulated sphere, that just isn't feasible.
Right, isn't feasible, right? If anything, what's the point of trying to make things frictionless or, counterproductive, right? You got to have something that is, let's face it, feasible. So I'm going to jump to this next part, and I think I got it right here. Yeah, dude, just a second. Gotta pull this up because I guess somehow, some way, it's kind of got a little bit messed up with the outline. I think it's because I was pulling up the tags from Mike Cornwell. That's okay. Not really complaining. It's just the way it goes sometimes. So, oh, I see where it's at. I see what we got here. Let me just pull this up. Yeah, here we go. So it goes on to mention, and this is, of course, is retweeted from Quampo. I see what's going on. All right, yeah, we'll pull this up. So, again, back to the topic of R3 and whatnot. Let me see if you guys can see that. Yeah, you can. All right. So, Gilbert Verdian, and then again, this is the part that was retweeted from Quant Papa. My bad. I apologize. So it says from Gilbert Verdian, definitely said it in November 2022. Twitter, now X, will be payments system. I know that this is not necessarily the R3 side of things, but I want to share this with you. Andrew Carrier, right? Originally, I guess has been cited here. You know, hopefully you guys know about Andrew Carrier. Basically speaking with him, he is the CMO, right, of Quant. And jumping back to what we have. God dang it. I don't know what the heck is going on with this thing. It's being slow for some reason. All right, there we go. I apologize. All right, so he says, definitely said it back in November 2022. Twitter will now be a payment system. I want you guys to pay attention to this. It says, at Elon Musk tried it in the 90s with X.com. We did that little thing about this about a week ago. It was like, I guess you could say, kind of like a little bit of a continuation. That later became PayPal. But the market wasn't mature enough then. Now he's inherited 370 million customers on Twitter who can soon transact globally. And this is a reference back to, for instance, Andrew Carrier. So we show you that for a second. And I'm glad that they, I don't know, took the time to cite some of this. So it says trends for 2023. Again, you know, a blast from the past. Ultimately, we're entering a hyper-connected world, says Gilbert Vernon, and you heard it here first. This is the key thing. One example of that trend is that Elon Musk's Twitter will become a payment system. And I do remember this because this is where so many people had that, you know, speculative debate. Some people were saying, well, you know, especially from the DOGE, you know, the DOGE army and so on, they're going to use Dogecoin. And some people are like, no, they're not going to use Dogecoin. It's not fast enough. That's not going to, you know, Elon Musk is too smart to use Dogecoin. Some other people said, well, then, you know, it's going to be Ripple's XRP. So, I mean, people even, you know, were speculative and say, well, it's probably Stellar. Well, is it like literally the X's? You know, this is, again, part of that speculation. Well, if anything, let's play this. You make your own decision on where you feel as though we're going with this. And I'm glad that they are citing some of these things. So this one's 1 minute and 18 seconds. We'll get into a little bit more of what we have. But this is all interesting because you know what? Everybody's recognizing what's happened to Twitter. I mean, I guess eventually it won't even be called Twitter. You can't retweet. I mean, you can, but it's not called a retweet. It's called a repost. You don't tweet on Twitter. You post on X or Twitter, right? So, you know, when we talk about the whole concept of like legacy systems, if you think about it, right? Technically, this is an example, right? Here we go. Let's smash that like. Let's play this.
Very good question. I think where we're heading is a new way where society can interconnect, because we're as humans we're very social, and it's all about our networks and connections with people. And I think that can be very easily overlaid into new types of transactions or financial services that leverage that network connectivity, the human side. So I think where we're seeing things evolving is that mass explosion of new types of digital assets, new types of money, and the new types of human-to-human transactions or business-to-business transactions. If you look at what's happening, I mean, just an example with Twitter, my view is that's going to be a payment system. It's undergoing a lot of turmoil right now, and you know we all know why. And but I think that's kind of the start of a new human-to-human ways to do payments using an existing platform like Twitter. So having that connected to bank systems, to central bank digital currency systems, peer-to-peer systems, we're going to have a new type of world. It's very hyper-connected. So I think 23 is the start of that.
Yes, a hyper-connected future.
Jeez, he basically called it before anybody else did. You know, that's at least my opinion. Going to share a little bit more about this, obviously, with you guys. Let me just hit the back button. Yeah, let's get into this next part. A little bit more cited from, obviously, Gilbert Verdi. And this is some good stuff, especially if you're in the QT. You want to know something? Even if you're not a holder of Quant, just like some of the explanations of like, yeah, you know what? Elon Musk obviously had a plan long before everybody else. He just didn't come out and spill the beans about it all at once, you know. But I'm glad that Gilbert Verdian saw this long before everybody else. So let's pull this up. Here it is. Come back into the frame for just a brief moment. And it says a detailed view of the size, scale, and reach of Apple in financial services. Let me check the time real quick. Yeah, it's going to be WrestleMania. It's a Friday night. A little bit of WrestleMania. It's okay. I love being with you guys. Smash that like, especially if you love CTN and the coverage that we bring you guys. Welcome to WrestleMania. All right, let's get back into the topic of QNT and this whole outline that we have for you. So he says, detailed view of the size, scale, and reach of Apple in financial services. In 4 months, Apple collected $10 billion in deposits, scaling to the size of a challenger bank. My God. Here's the link, the source, if you want to view it. Incumbent are threatened by big tech entrance basically into the market. And again, on the chopped up version of this later, if you see me grimacing, you know why. Credit is from Linus Bilwinis. I'm not pronouncing that right. But anyway, Apple, yes, like it says, is the biggest fintech in the world. Apple Finance Empire, unbundling the bank. Look at what's mentioned here. Maybe on this one, I'll blow it up just a tad bit more to show you some of the key findings here. Let's see. All right, share this tab instead. Maybe it's just a little bit bigger. I think it is. Yeah, this is good. So it goes on to mention some of these things when you unbundle the bank, the finance empire. Look at this. Financial product, obviously Apple Pay. Connected with what financial institution partner, guys? Chase, Wells Fargo, Visa, MasterCard, American Express. What about Apple Cash, Green Dot Bank? Look at how Goldman Sachs stands out here. We talk about that institutional money. Think about this for a second. Look how many times do you see Goldman Sachs listed here for both Apple Card, Apple Pay Later, and the savings account. All three of those. How about some of the technology and fintech partners? Core Card, Credit Kudos. What about the financial product of Tap to Pay, CTBC Bank of Taiwan? You have on the technology and fintech partners, you have GoDaddy. Oh my God, I never forget going down to that main office one time. They did never believe I was going to go down there. Anyway, that's off the wall. Sorry. But yeah, you see GoDaddy, Clover. It says Apple is basically leading in embedded finance. And as you can see, again, Goldman Sachs reference in regards to Apple savings. Apple Tap to Pay, Mobi Wave. But look what's referenced here. EF 3.0 built in-house. Green Dot Bank with Apple Cash to co-create. They have a whole breakdown of all this, right? Very, very impressive. On the right side, lower right side, it's kind of hard to see it. So I'm not going to be able to blow it up more if I do, because this is a screenshot. It's going to be too smudged. But it's glad to show you guys that. On the next part I'm going to get into, let me see if I can pull this up for a second. Oh, yes, I know where we're at. I want to show you guys this. It's back to the topic of Apple. So I said for the second thought, Apple was issuing the Apple dollar. Again, back to the whole concept of like payments and so on. So he says, as in Gilbert Vernon, he wouldn't be surprised if big tech entering the banking market this way. You already technically saw it. Give you some examples of that, right? Tokenized commercial money native to the platform wallets. For instance, not just strictly on the iPhone, but even on Android. And enable for billions of their customers to transact instantly who have their devices. You have this, what's referenced from Pixar, Adobe, Apple, Autodesk, and even NVIDIA. Of course, who formed an alliance for OpenUSD. How long ago was that? Let me just see real quick, because I didn't have a chance to pull that up. That was actually the other day. Sorry about that. So let me pull this up for a second. I just thought it was just a regular reference. Yeah, you see it right here. It says Pixar, Adobe, Apple, Autodesk, and NVIDIA form alliance for OpenUSD to drive open standards for 3D content. It goes down to mention some of these key things. The alliance seeks to standardize the 3D ecosystem by advancing the capabilities of open universal scene description, promoting greater interoperability. I mean, think about that for a second, but the standardization, you know where we're going with this. And then on top of interoperability of 3D tools and data, the Alliance will enable developers and content creators to describe, compose, and simulate large-scale 3D projects and build an ever-widening range of 3D-enabled products and services. Also talks about the whole idea of Alliance will develop written specifications detailing features of OpenUSD. It goes on to also mention this reference right here. This is also going to provide a path to recognition through the International Organization of Standardization, ISO. Do you really think I was going to provide you guys just nothing but a nothing burger? No. But the point is standardization ISO. What is Quant basically, when it comes to ISO TC 307? So yes, add another one that you can, apply to the notch in the belt. That's why Gilbert Verdin is referencing this. I'll get to all this stuff. You can nerd it out more, right? That's very, very cool. Very, very cool. How about this? AOUSD steering committee members will be speaking both at the Academy Software Foundation's Open Source Days on August 6th. I mean, I don't know if it's going to happen. You never know. Maybe Gilbert Verdin might show up virtually, or maybe you show them in person. I don't know. But whatever the case be, talking about being well connected and setting down the standards. And it literally references. I'm going to show it one more time just in case you missed it. ISO on that particular standard. Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. All right, I'm going to jump back to this again. Gilbert Verdin talks about some of this. And again, why would Gilbert Verdin post anything if it wasn't valid, all right, or worthy of a mention? So seriously, and this is who he's referencing. This guy who goes by Flow, innovation of intrapreneurship. That's a weird way of pronouncing it. Interest in blockchain, BTC, and more assets, projects, and ecosystems. So seriously, 2 replies to state the same thing. Obviously, is a 3D data format. I can read the article. Ooh. Is Quant's Gilbert Verdin have a little bit of a back and forth with a BTC maxi bigwig? We see some of this stuff happening lately, do we not? We saw the whole back and forth of, I hate to say it, I mean, I'm invested in both. I don't like tribalism, but you see some of this, some of the bigwigs have some of this tribalism, some of these, arguments. So we saw, David Schwartz and we reported, I think it was last Friday, if I'm not mistaken, David Schwartz and the whole thing with Craig Wright, right? What about this? Gilbert Verdin, this guy? It says, so Gilbert goes on to mention, he says, obviously it's in a 3D data format. I can read the article, kind of missing the point of big tech entering financial services markets with payments. Apple Pay, Google Pay, Amazon Pay, PayPal, Apple Card, etc. has been one of the threats to banking and financial services. Incumbents watching big tech closely for many years. It's a matter of when, not if. They have the scale and reach to do this. And here's what he's referencing in this little tiff that they have. This guy, who goes by Flow, he says AOUSD has nothing to do with money. It's a standard for interoperability of 3D content through OpenUSD universal scene description. Standardizing the 3D ecosystem will enable developers and content creators, like I mentioned earlier, to describe, compose, and simulate large-scale 3D projects. Again, I think Gilbert Verdin just basically owned him on this. But if you're wondering, like, well, how so? Can you pound it home that much more? And it's this part right here. He highlights it. He says, the Alliance for OpenUSD, an open source nonprofit organization dedicated to promoting and here's the highlight, interoperability of 3D content through OpenUSD, universal scene description, standardizing. Again, this is why I point out some of the stuff earlier without even highlighting it. The 3D ecosystem will enable developers and content creators to describe, compose, and simulate large scale. We already said it all, right? Widening a 3D range of services and so on. And again, they just kind of have their back and forth. But this guy says, yes, sorry, that is why I wrote that and deleted my post. Translation mistake. And then they made up for it. So I guess that's kind of cool. I mean, it is what it is. But anyway, you can say what you want. Gilbert Verdine wasn't going to just let this guy, whether the guy translated or not, get away with it. All right. This last part, I think I just got into all that. Yeah, that actually is going to conclude. Sorry about that. Our QNT coverage. The next bit that we'll have is going to be XRP. I'm just going to close out some tabs. And if anything, I thank you guys for being here. All right. I'm going to turn on some banners just for brand recognition and so on. And what else do we got? What is this? That's a weird looking thing. All right, there we go. Let's get back into the comments. Please smash that like, even though we're almost at the 3-hour mark. We just got a tad bit left for you guys, not much. Like, I mean, it seems like it's WrestleMania, but it's not. It's not like a 5-hour show. We're not going to do that. Let's see what other comments we have. All right, here we go. Boomer F and Sooner. No, I have 2 acres. The pool is back of the property. Okay, cool. 2 acres, nice. You're eating some chili. That sounds good. All right, you might get a 5th crypto with Atom residuals. Cool. Oh, okay. 2 acres is cool, but mowing sucks. What kind of mower you got? I know Mike Cornwell's got one of those kinds in which he can ride around and have fun, right? Going like more than Forrest Gump style, you know? At 52 and being hot, yeah. The effing Overridger, bro. All right. Overledger integrated cows. My God. All right. Thinking about picking up 52 QNT after dropping vet today. I think I mentioned it on Daniel Gayton's show this morning because I actually do tune into that once in a while in the morning. My new goals for QNT is 100 QNT. I am not close to that goal, but that's my goal. I've decided that long term, I'm going to make it 100 QNT. All right. I'm done with the whole minimum thing a while back, but my new goal is 100 QNT. For some people, maybe it's higher than that. I see some people that have crazy amount of QNT. And I'm thinking, man, you must have been investing in QNT since 2017 or 2018 or something. All right. Hump, not dump. All not is giving you 18.87%. Interesting. All right. What else we got? Juan Figueroa Jr. says one asset that piques his curiosity is Casper. You mean Caspa, because you put the K. Because if it was Casper with a C, unless that's what you meant, but I think you meant Caspa. I think Caspa is also a great asset, and that's something that we're going to look to cover here regularly. I just need to be personally invested into it. But it's something I have mentioned. All right. You're trying to, according to Hump Not Dump, learn to send XLM to the Cosmos Hub to stake it. Yeah. I guess you're going to have to get with Cool Cat. He knows how to do that. All right. Casper. Yeah, I think it's called Caspa, Kaspa. Then there's Casper. So, anyway. All right. See what else we got in the comments. Polymesh was on that sign behind Gilbert. That's a good catch. And then on top of it, absolutely one QNT is a whale. 99.99 of the people on the planet won't have one QNT. Well, long term. I guess that's a good way to point it out. All right, Blackwood. I love talking out of my butt sometimes. The breeze. Oh, jeez. I keep forgetting I have 2.5 quant. So I have 5 cryptos. Oh, okay. Right on. All right. When Bo hits, you may buy some more quant. You don't know. We'll see. You don't know if you'll have time. Don't know if you have time. That's interesting. All right, LCX and QNT. Welcome back to the Dash. Remember, like I said before, I remember you. There is, of course, Mrs. Dash. You are Mr. Dash. Welcome, Mr. Dash. What is your QNT price for 2025? I have it at least 10K. I know some people don't agree with that, but that is what I have it at least at. And I could be wrong, but that's just the way I'm looking at it. I'm looking at, and this is not at the beginning of 2025. Some people think when I state things like, oh, 2025, they literally will hold me accountable. It is now January 1st, 2025, Max. You were wrong. I am talking probably like literally towards the end of 2025 after full implementation of like, some of the things that we talk about, like ISO 222 and so on. But it could happen before then, but I'm leaning more towards the end of 2025. All right. Gigi says there's a party over here. Well, there it is. Yep. Good stuff. Let's just read a few more comments. $100 bone, only 23 billion market cap. Oh man, that's beautiful. Does anyone know if Coinbase is going to list XRP again? It's like, why not? Why aren't they? They like get with it, right? All right, Max. Whenever I watch the stream, it's both on TV, Fire Stick, and on the phone. I always like your streams twice. Oh, thanks, man. That's awesome. Edward Vincent, stop that. I know where you're going with this. He did with the K, and now you're doing with the C. It's just like, what the heck? All right, Wayneside. You knew he was going to eventually show up, dude. What's up? Well, what's up, Wayneside? Do you enjoy your surf, bro? Shut. Welcome, Wayneside. I don't know if we have time quote from old school movie. Come on, Blue. Oh, yeah. Yep, I remember that movie. Will Ferrell. Come on, Blue. That scene with those chicks. Yes. No, XRP is not on Coinbase. Yeah, it's just like, come on. It's over with. Just do it already. But then again, I forgot. I forgot. Maybe you guys didn't forget. The SEC, basically saying, oh, yeah, you can only list like Bitcoin and so on. It's just like, so now they're intimidated again. I don't know. They're going to do what they're going to do. XRP is on my Coinbase. Oh. All right. Patiently patient. That is quite the avatar. Look at that. Coinbase is selling XRP. Yes. Oh, okay. Well, I have Coinbase wallet, but I need to double check on some things. You purchase XRP and Coinbase twice. Okay. Well, cool stuff. All right, we're going to get into the XRP segment, and then we got some Hedera, and then after that, that's going to wrap up our coverage for tonight. So we're not done yet. Let's jump into it. Please smash that like for some Ripple XRP. Here we go. So this comes from the one and only ISO Goat. You can follow him over at XRP King 09531420. All right, let me share this with you guys. I think I retweeted this the other day. Let me know what you guys think in that regard. All right, so here it is, and nice and big for you guys. The states. Ripple's XRP on the brink of over 60,000% surge as Flutterwave revolutionizes remittances. Well, I don't know if you guys remember, but it was about maybe 6 or 7 months ago. We did talk about Flutterwave. I think we even talked about maybe Flutterwave also with Stellar also, if I'm not mistaken. So there's this little thing here, right? This guy named Crypto901 says Ripple's XRP in the dynamic world of cryptocurrency stands out with a potential surge of 63,400%. Now, that sounds crazy, right, for some people. But how so? He states, as predicted by renowned crypto analysts, this bullish forecast is based on key indicators like MACD and ADX/DI crosses, which have historically signaled massive price rallies for XRP. So they at least have something to kind of back it up. And if you're into all this TNA type of stuff, you can look into it more yourself. In parallel, Ripple's partner, Flutterwave, is revolutionizing the remittance space. The firm recently launched Send app in the US and also Canada, aiming to facilitate swift and convenient money transfers for Africans living abroad to their families back home. This development is a significant stride in cross-border payments, highlighting the growth, or I should say the growing influence of Ripple and its partners in the global financial ecosystem. This last part, the potential surge in XRP's value and the launch of Flutterway's Send app are two key events that underline the transformative power of Ripple and its associated cryptocurrency. If XRP replicates the magnitude of the rally witnessed in 2017, and this is a really good point, the asset could see a massive surge, potentially reaching a price of $438. Now, some people don't like me mentioning some of this stuff. Again, I'm just bringing the news or something that I feel as though kind of stands out. But if you're into that TNA, again, take a look into what he's talking about and make your own decision. Do you think he's onto something here? You never know. All right. Another thing I want to point out is I think that's it in regards to the XRP coverage. Not a lot tonight. We're going to now jump into the Hedera HBAR news, and that will round things off for tonight. All right, let's get into this. Here we go. And there's quite a few things, I should say. This is officially from Hedera. And I'm going to scroll down for a second and pull this up for you. Smash that like for some Hedera. It is part of my top 5. So it's this right here. And it goes on to mention great progress has been made towards creating tokenized representations of our funds. We're always talking about the tokenization of digital assets and so on. Well, sometimes, I think it was like Darius Magruder. He sent me a message asking me about, tokenized bonds and so on. And obviously, LCX stands out in that regard. But there's other tokenized bond platforms. Well, what about Hedera? It says great progress, right? In regards to just that, those tokenized representations of our funds. This work leverages, and here it is, RKX, the next evolution in digital asset trading. They recently announced tokenization engine, an engine for tokenization. That sounds crazy, right? Hedera is playing an important role in the tokenization journey. So I'm going to show you guys this real quick. Let's pull this up. And here we go. And this was reported just, 3 days ago? So on this one, let's see if I can blow it up a little bit more. Yeah, I can. It goes on to mention, it says, ahead of, or before the head, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Half-year progress expanding our alternative capabilities. Says, ahead of our year results for 2023, we've been looking back at the progress. You gotta keep in mind, when you're in a lot of pain, it's sometimes kind of hard to focus. So we've been looking back at the progress we've been making against our strategic priorities. Asia, for instance, sustainability, alternatives and UK savings and wealth, with alternatives as a critical part of our client-led plans. We highlight some of the key developments delivered so far this year. And of course, they talk about DLT. And basically, here it is. At the core of this transformation is DLT, an effective method of recording ownership. We know about that. They believe in the next decade, nearly all investments could come to be represented as digital assets using DLT. What's most cost effective? What's less, energy, using less energy? What's the most energy efficient? Is the bottom line. But they got this thing about this digital conviction, and here's the part about Archax. They are the largest external shareholder, if you didn't know this, in the UK. They're the first regulated digital securities exchange. Archax allows institutional investors. My God, are we starting to see some of the stuff going on? They're going to be able to access blockchain-based digital assets and act as a bridge to the traditional capital. I'm telling you flat out, this is another reason why Hedera is consistently in my top 5. I'm big on the whole idea of the institutional money coming in, but being able to give them a tool, if you will, that's even bigger, right? Building on our investment in Archax, great progress has been made towards creating tokenized representations of our funds. This work leverages Archax's recently announced tokenization engine and represents the first step towards a number of traditional real-world tokenization projects that are working on together. Now, what about Hedera? Well, with Hedera, like it says, they are the first asset manager to join the governing council of this cutting-edge DLT firm. A DLT firm connected to, the tokenization of institutional money. That sounds pretty big. Hedera pioneer enterprise-grade technology enabling the seamless migration of traditional investments onto the DLT. So taking some of that legacy, things that we talk about and put them on the new system, if you will. Hedera's tech is playing an important role in our tokenization and digitalization journey. As such, we felt it was important to have a governance role in the business, and our on-premises node is now live, helping to operate the network. So my thing is this, right? Again, the bottom line is we're always talking about institutional investments and the assets that they bring, the tokenization of that institutional money. How much will they put into, crypto, blockchain, distributed ledger technologies, and so on. It's not that they're going to put all of it, but even if they put just a small percentage, that will dramatically increase the overall crypto market. Will it not? Here's again a great example of it. We could be speculative of, all these different things that we hope and dream about how it happens. I'm telling you flat out, here's a perfect example of how it happens. Like I said, as such, we felt it was important to have governance role in the business of our own premises node, which is live. Duncan Moore, the senior investment manager, comments on our progress in this area. Blockchain technologies are inevitably going to form a big part of future financial markets. The progress we made so far in this area through 2023 will set us in good stead to develop our capabilities in this area for years to come. Again, just because you feel as though that like Hedera is not doing a lot, it's the price has gone down. What is this for you? Is this basically just a quick swing trade, or is this literally part of that generational wealth you're looking for? Talks about venturing into healthcare, biotech. A lot of this stuff is pretty impressive, but my key thing is what I wanted to share with you earlier. And my thing is these mentions, again, institutional. And how many times does it mention this? It mentions this once here, but RChex allows institutional investors, again, just because you missed it, to access blockchain-based digital assets and acts as a bridge to the traditional capital. We always talk about those on-ramps. Well, boom, this is an example of, like it says, that institutional access to blockchain-based digital assets. Literally says a bridge. Boom. So that's cool stuff. I'm going to jump back to a little bit more of what we have. And let me see about getting back to there. All right, let's jump to this next part. All right, so on this next part, this was also, I believe, reported recently, August 3rd. They retweet us, right, from Hedera. They're excited to partner with Kamel Cadet. She is the founder and CEO of MTech. Everyone deserves access to resilient and inclusive financial market, building the next generation of central banking infrastructure. We're always talking about infrastructure. Always talking about that regulatory framework, where we're always talking about, you got to have scaling solutions, you got to have infrastructure. What about central bank infrastructure? That's the bottom line. Well, they are a provider of that. Here's a whole, I guess you could say, thread about it. Not super deep dive for you guys tonight in regards to Hedera, but it says digital assets and programmable currency in the form of regulated CBDCs can turbocharge financial inclusion. MTech, which is an award-winning technology company, it basically helps to transform the regulatory review process of fintechs for several central banks with its API-led regulatory sandbox. And that in itself is huge. All right, what about the topic of central banks real quick? With 6 central banks onboarded, the company connects central banks and fintechs while reducing friction. How many times we talk about reducing friction tonight, right? Especially with the Q&A segment we had earlier. Reduces friction and promoting developer-friendly environment. The company has successfully developed RegTech, CBDC stack solutions by harnessing DLT and blockchain tech. They've gone ahead and deployed utilizing the central banks of Ghana, Nigeria, and the Bahamas. They're going forward. MTech remains committed to collaborating with central banks worldwide. All right, what about this in regards to like fundraising? Kamel Cadet, founder and CEO of MTech, shared MTech's adoption of blockchain tech, which enables the democratization of finance. So we talk about Jasmy, the democratization of data. Maybe we should throw Hedera in the mix because they got this connection of having the democratization of finance, bridging financial freedom and inclusivity. I can't even pronounce that right now. Sorry, I'm kind of struggling because I got a lot of pain with my ankle. I'm not going to try to complain about a lot, but it's really starting. It's just killing me. Anyway, to individuals and businesses of all sizes, with the support of their investors, they're well positioned to expedite their growth, diversify product offerings, and continue to drive just that transformative change across the financial services landscape. All right, this last part. MTech's vision, if you're wondering about it, of shaping blockchain-powered fintech infrastructure for CBDCs and solutions for fintech regulation is promising, and they are excited to partner with them in their journey. I did a whole deep dive about MTech a few months ago. I think that Hedera video literally got like 200 or 300 views. I don't know. Sometimes people just want to see something really catchy and they don't want, I guess you could say, the educational side of things. But it was nice to share this with you guys because here's an update in regards to MTech. And, you know, that is a big deal. When we talk about providing, you know, fintechs the infrastructure, and you have this connect, if you will, connector, right, with Hedera. I mean, this is another example of in the future, you're going to see price shock. You know, a lot of us are right now seeing, you know, a lot that's recently happened with, you know, XDC and so on. We've had pullbacks, but, you know, it's the baby steps to get to where we want to go. Obviously, we're all looking forward to 2024, 2025, and, you know, basically like having that life-changing money. Be patient. Understand these guys are well connected. Hedera is well connected. Most impressive governing council. You can read more about this announcement if you want to from matrixpartners.in. But you know, it's nice to see a lot of recent news in regards to Hedera and what they're basically doing. I'm going to jump back just for a brief moment. I think there might have been a tad bit more, not necessarily so much with MTech, but I don't know, some cool stuff to share nonetheless. Yeah, this real quick. I want to. This will be the last part in regards to Hedera, and actually this part as well. I'm sorry. Yeah. So actually, I'm sorry. It's not two. It's three last things, and that'll be it for the show. Just to give you a heads up, it's going to be about the governing council that votes to approve changes to the staking algorithm, because maybe you guys are into that. The other thing about stablecoins on Hedera, the future of international money transfer. I know when we talk about stablecoins, some people they don't want to hear about it. They think it's boring. And then this last part, I think it's worth pointing out, right? I always like to see interviews from Dr. Lehman Baird. All right, so we're going to jump into this for just a brief moment. I'm going to go ahead and like and reshare this. And basically speaking, it says, as part of its periodic review, CoinCom has voted to adopt the following changes to the Hedera staking rewards program. And this does affect a lot of you guys who are staking, for instance, your HBAR. This aligns with the currently industry average adjusted reward rates, 1.4% across the top 20 POS networks. I mean, I don't know about you, but, you know, like, I think somebody else, I think it was Mr. Man, all right? Shout out to him, the guy that always dressed up as Spider-Man. He pointed out this thing about, I forgot what platform it was. I have it on a tweet. I retweeted it. But talking about XRP and, like, only earning, like, 1% on your XRP, and, like, is that really even that big of a deal? Not really, right? It says these adjustments are expected to further sustainability, of the staking program as network utilization continues to grow. Maximum staking reward was adjusted to only 2.5%. Adjustment of reward emission cap I mean, again, guys, if you're doing staking, I mean, this does affect you. So if anything, you might want to listen to this. Implementation of additional controls to algorithmically govern the reward weight. Together, these changes are designed to adjust rates more dynamically in the future to much better market conditions and supply of H-bar in account to 0.0800 and further ensure the long-term security of the mainnet when nodes are operated in a permissionless manner. There's more details about it if you go to hedera.com in regards to the governing council that voted to approve changes to the staking algorithm. All right. Glad to share that. I'm going to jump down to this real quick. It says next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Again, you got to keep in mind this is reported earlier today. A lot of news about H-bar, so I at least want to get into this. It says next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. You can join them as well as other speakers from Xinjiang Bank, which is this one right here, right? They are a foreign customer department improving, expanding banking services for international residents and foreign companies in South Korea. There's, of course, SBG Group, Standard Bank Group. We talk about them every once in a while. Swirls Labs to accelerate the future of Hedera. All these big ones are going to be here at this thing. And SCB Tech X for a free virtual event if you choose to show up to it, like to learn more in regards to this recently announced stablecoin remittance POC pilot that's built on Hedera. But to see how this basically comes about, I think in the future somebody will take more of a deeper dive into it, maybe like Mason Versalides, because he does those type of things. We'll see what happens with that. So there's what's going on with that. It's a virtual event, like I said, Tuesday, August 8th, and it's going to be at 11 a.m. Pacific time, which is also, what is that? 2 p.m. Eastern. So 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 Pacific. So glad to show that. I'm going to go back one more, and let's show you guys this, and this will wrap up not just the Hedera news, but everything tonight. We'll get into, of course, the comments afterwards. So, yes, this right here, Hedera News Week, August 4th. Once again, happy Friday, Hedera community, and gossip, season 4 highlights. It's going to play some of this. I can't click on that. I thought I was going to be able to play some of it. But anyway, it says special thanks to all the projects, ESG Gaming, NFTs. Try to pull up on the other screen. I could have sworn I had that video real quick. I apologize. That one is Gossip About Gossip. Let me pull it up. Let me see. Gossip About Gossip. Hedera. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, this was 2 days ago, so I do have it. My bad. And I just have to pull up on the other screen real quick. And unfortunately, I was thinking it showed Dr. Lehman Baird, but it does not. It's kind of lame, but I'll at least play about roughly 5 minutes of this, give or take. And then, like I said, this is going to wrap things up. All right, let's go ahead and share this. Here we go. Please smash that like.
Welcome to Gossip About Gossip, powered by Hedera Hashgraph. In each episode, we'll cut through the hype of blockchain promises and explore real-world examples of organizations creating the next generation of decentralized applications, which will bring trust back to the internet for us all.
Welcome to the final episode of Season 4 of Gossip About Gossip. I just want to thank everyone. This has been a great year. We have seen some amazing projects, and you are the ones making it possible. The people here, the teams, the projects, the enterprises, all of you in the community have made this a fantastic year for building Hedera and the ecosystem and setting the foundation for a 100-year project. We have seen some very interesting things this year on Gossip About Gossip, Season 4, and now we're right around the corner from Season 5. I think it'd be good to just take a look back and see what some of the highlights were of Season 4. So let's get started. I just want to say thank you and hello, future.
The distributed ledger is the missing link that connects our program of generating the credits with the platform. Again, this trading platform for physicals is already in production in hemp. It's customized for carbon. We're just waiting for a pipeline of inventory to build so that we can go live with this thing. And then we need to put this distributed ledger in there. And one of the reasons we love the Hedera network is the low cost, low energy, and the speed of it. When you're talking about saving the environment, you have to walk the walk, and you have to go with the vendors that don't consume vast amounts of energy to run it. So we are still early days in that. It's the missing link, but it's also the last piece. To be perfectly transparent, right now the priority is getting carbon credits. It's not an overnight process. And so we want to, there's no point in having this super robust platform without the inventory of credits to trade. So simultaneously this year, we're onboarding the clients, getting the first credits issued, and then getting that ledger piece implemented.
People did not know what Hedera was about during that time. They know now. And with regards to the various organizations that Hedera is part of, which I found fantastic, whether it's Swirls Labs, the Foundation, Hashgraph Association, it's a magnificent group of colleagues. And it's the first time I had a chance to actually visit with them. But, the sessions that were, I have to say, whether you were talking about policy, whether you were talking about, how do you actually use these technologies to create what we call trust, and why it's trust. One of the aspects that I personally was participating in various conversations about what differentiates Hedera from others, and that is trust. And not easily said, but it's enterprise driven. That our companies have joined the council, have joined the group. They drive the conversations with Hedera. We have people who are responsible from the policy side of the house. We have we have somebody who's a CFO. We have communications officers yourself. I mean, we have just and also you have lawyers who are involved in making sure that we do have governance, and that's a differentiator from what people have from what people have experienced in the past. And, we are we are very inclusive.
And so what made you decide, hey, this is the time for us to join the governing council of a blockchain?
Well, I think there's two reasons really, Zenobia. The first one is, as I mentioned, we have a lot of infrastructure products, and our customers are increasingly moving from centralizing them in one location to distributing them across multiple locations, whether it's multi-cloud or whether it's edge. So we believe that a distributed ledger will be a critical part of the architecture for edge computing. We need some sort of a trusted, multi-party way to communicate business transactions. And so Dell is increasingly exploring distributed ledger technology, and Hedera has that enterprise focus that we really liked. So that's reason number one that we've decided to join. The second reason is that our customers are increasingly interested, experimenting with writing applications that run on distributed ledgers. So for us, when we join the council, right, to actually implement a node, right, a Dell server running on the Hedera network, we'll gain valuable experience that we can and then turn and share with our customers and help them on their journey to use distributed ledgers. Well, I think the biggest thing we're excited about in working with all these other council members is that they've already gone through the process of installing an enterprise class trusted server in their infrastructure and got it running, right, for a specific use case. And it may or may not be edge, right? So when we come to the council and we begin to collaborate with and work other companies like a Boeing or an IBM or a ServiceNow or a Google, we'll gain this visibility into, well, what kind of applications are they running? because we'll bump into those customers. There probably will be Dell customers trying to solve those exact same problems. So we tap into this rich network of use cases that are already in flight, already have a lot of thought put behind them, and that can accelerate solutions for our customers, which is something we're really excited about.
Sorry, I was muted there for a second. I played roughly like 6.5, almost 7 minutes worth of that. You can look more into it. It's just called Gossip About Gossip, Season 4 highlights. A lot of nice things that were shared there, right? I was glad to bring that to you guys. In the future, I'll try to bring you guys a little bit more of that, because you know what? Stellar Development Foundation, they do things like this similar. And of course, Hedera does this too. So be on the lookout for a little bit more of that in the future on the show. That concludes our coverage. To wrap things up, going to just get into some of the comments, and then after that, we're going to close things out. Do appreciate you guys who are here tonight. We're at the 3-hour and 30-minute mark. And let's see what else we got here in the comments. See if you guys got anything specifically. Please give me the benefit of the doubt if I don't necessarily read every single comment, because I do need to wrap this up because of this right here. Max, prop up your leg. Yeah, I have a recliner. I'm going to do that. I don't have anything in which I can really make it comfortable underneath this particular desk. It would have been a little bit too awkward. I am trying not to put pressure on it. Yeah, thank you for that heads up, though, Edward. Appreciate it. GG says, another superb show. Until next time, not everyone. Well, I guess you're gone by now, but thank you, GG. That was 20 minutes ago. Tokenize.com. Check out the new enterprise grade desktop wallet for BSV. Never seen anything like it. Tokenize.com. All right. Let's see what we got. What is this? Literally have to go to Florida to buy a phone and connect it to in Florida, so the IP registers in Florida. Not. Hey man, there you go. Let's see here. You don't have to buy a phone to change service. You can select your own area code. All right. NNIC goes by IP address registrations and not area code. And if I get an 813 Florida area code in NYC, the phone will not work until it enters that area code. Interesting. All right. Who remembers me sending them money to buy crypto for me? Thank you, guys. I think I remember you saying something like that a long time ago. All right. Like around this time last year. All right, $1,000 worth of HBAR would be about 32 trillion market cap. Or $1,000 HBAR. Oh, geez. I don't necessarily have it that high. But, that would be incredible, right? Got to be realistic with these X's. Market caps would be insane for some of these out-of-this-world predictions. Yeah. All right. Yeah, you're very welcome. Quant Papa, Michael Cormo, you're very, very welcome. Thank you, guys. But dear, it's always good seeing you, man. We hope to see more of you. All right. It's nice to see an old friend. Thank you for being here, man. Boomer F it sooner. Boomer F it sooner. You know I'm in pain. Boomer F it sooner. QT, Jasmy, Bone seem to be the best plays as far as circulating supply and market cap possibilities. That's good. Although I remember buying all those damn pictures from y'all. Yeah. All right, you guys have a great night. I'm going to try to figure out something which I don't have to stand and cook, because I think I have a chance to eat dinner before I got on the show, which is bad. Man. Having a hell of a time. And I got to go check on my dad, and it's just been such a challenging time. But anyway, we all have problems. God bless you guys. Over and out. We'll see you on the next one.